The Kunene Regional Governor, Vipuakuje Muharukua, is expected to give his 2026 State of the Region address here in Opuo to address, give highlights on what transpired last year, as well as to set goals and developmental agendas for the region. That is to ensure that economic development is felt by both those in remote rural areas as well as those in urban areas. Now, to unpack what residents can expect from the governor's address, and as well as to discuss some of the pressing issues facing the region, we are now joined this morning by Kunene Region representative, that is of the Alan Association, Mr. Thomas Adams. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
As well as Samara Kashau, the person of Kamanyab Village Council. Thank you so much for joining us. Talk to us about, as an Alan representative in Kunene, what are your expectations for this year's SORA?
Yeah, no, thank you. The expectation from the side of Alan is that service delivery is at the heart of programs. Now, we've been saying that all programs are basically identical in nature. It just differs from council to council, and I'm sure the governor will address some of these matters.
Mr. Shapumba, expectations?
Yes, I expect the Honorable Governor to unpack the achievements so far in the previous financial year and chart the way forward as far as the development agenda of 2026-2027 is concerned, to inform the nations of those updates and also to share with the nation what is the government's agenda in terms of socio-economic development to improve service delivery in the Kunene region as a whole.
Now, talk to us about the various challenges that face the great Kunene region, which is quite vast. What are some of the pressing challenges that are common?
Yeah, the common problem challenges in our region, and you correctly stated that it's a vast region. It's basically a special region because of its vastness and the amount of people also living. Because you have a certain group of people living on the northern side and the others on the southern side. But regardless, the challenges remains the same. In all 4 local councils that we have in Kunene, that is the Opuo Town Council, Kamanyap Village Council, Ocho Municipality, and then Korikas Town Council from where I come. We had meetings with the Honorable Governor, and we outlined the challenges that we think he must address. And we are basically today waiting with bated breath to hear what it is. Our governor being young, energetic, and a go-getter. We know that what the expectations of people are, we will surely address it.
Challenges that you have noticed over the past years?
Yes, challenges are natural phenomenon. Wherever you are, there must be a challenge. There is no challenge-free space in this world, and Kunene is not an exemption. In addition to what Mr. Adam have just said, we also have disease outbreak in the form of malaria, in the form of measles, particularly in the last financial year. And we have some also spot of cases this year, but everything is under control with the support of the stakeholders, line ministries. So we are head on to fight and to control, to prevent and contain this outbreak. Remember that we are also bordering our Angola through the Kunene River, which form the international borders. But as we have, movement, cross-border movement, we are attending to thousands of people at our health facility who come to seek for health care services at our health facilities. But above that, we are determined, we are encouraged, because we work as a team to make sure that everybody is contributing to the welfare of the people. So those are some of the challenges that we are facing, but we are very determined and encouraged by the support we get from everybody in the fighting, in the control and containment of an outbreak and diseases at our health facilities.
Perhaps can you talk to us about the commitments that you would like to see channeled through this SORA pertaining to service delivery as well as infrastructure development in the Kunene region?
You would recall that our president, the president of this country, Honorable Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, gave a mandate to all 14 governors regarding sports facilities. Now, the idea basically is that sport is what keeps most of our youth busy. So the governor, through his office, of course, have identified councils in the region whereby the current stadia would be renovated, and then where there are no stadia, like in Kamanyap, for example, and then in your Pupa area, that's basically when you will get new stadia. But now this, because it's not only a stadia, but it's to do with keeping the youth busy and getting a better future for Namibia.
Say your thoughts?
Yes.
On service delivery and infrastructure development?
Yes. We all want service delivery across the board, across the whole region. And our Honorable Governor is just a part of that game to ensure that there is a development across the whole Kunene region. You may recall us that as the Minister of Health and Social Services, there are certain projects that we are earmarked to complete. For example, we have a Pupa clinic and staff accommodation, which is about just to be completed in a month to come. We have already the selling cost for which the tender has been advertised. And then, of course, we have the Opuo Hospital ICU, for which the feasibility study is in the full progress. So all this kind of planning will help to improve the service delivery by providing adequate health services to our communities and the public at large. So there is a lot of going on in terms of planning and going forward to service delivery improvement in our region.
Now, collaborations between regional leadership as well as local authorities remain central towards driving the developmental agenda of the Kunene region. What are your expectations and thoughts on that, especially unity of purpose amongst councillors from various political arenas?
That's basically why a body like Alan exists, whereby the different councils in a specific region, they come together and discuss problems, challenges, and you are quite right, it's unity of purpose. What is it that we all are aspiring as a region? What are the challenges? And then you also look at best practices. What is it that Korikas, for example, is doing good, that's having a challenge in Kamanyap? What is it that Kamanyap is doing that Ocho is not doing correctly? So I must emphasize that it is about unity of purpose, because at the end of the day, it is about service delivery. What is it that we promise that we will come and change for the better of our people?
Your thoughts on the collaborations?
Yes, collaboration and teamwork is a key. You cannot able to achieve anything if you don't collaborate, if you don't work together as a team. The good part of it is that we have a very good structures in place to spearhead the development agenda in the region. You may recall we have the village development committees in place. We have the constitutional development committees in place. We have the regional development committee in place. All these bodies, the main agenda is to ensure that there is a planning for development in the Kunene region. And therefore, with a good collaboration, with a good teamwork, with a good planning and a good budgeting and resource mobilization, particularly under the leadership of our able governor, Kunene will be able to move forward. We just need to foster the spirit of teamwork and the spirit of comradeship, so that we can take Kunene forward.
Also, what are some of the opportunities that you believe should be prioritized, that is to ensure that or to strengthen local economic development as well as create employment opportunities?
Yes, currently it's I think it's a national challenge, whereby we sit with energy, the supply of energy. Now, what needs to be done is that renewable energy like your solar or green energy, I think that we are of the view that is what we must look at, because we have the land, we as councils, we do have the land. Now, it is upon the investors, the challenges are upon the investors to come approach councils, the different councils in Kunene, so that because we have a beautiful sun, we have strong sun, we have enough sun here, whereby we can also look at something like solar energy. Yeah.
Your thoughts, sir?
Yes. Another approach, another scenario is really again to booster and reinforce our renewable energy, is to look in the area of skills development. We need to identify talents, we need to identify potential students with a good passing marks at school, so that we can send them to school, to universities, to study, so that they can come back and they contribute meaningfully to the renewable energy agenda of our Kunene region.
Perhaps your expectations as we await the governor to take to the podium?
Yeah,
The SORA?
Yeah, the governor is somebody that I know. Like I said in the beginning, that is a go-getter. He thrives on challenges. And I think that's one of the things that so many beautiful and positive things have changed since he took over. And we are the structure on which he relies, and we must support him. So I'm sure that he had an opportunity whereby he consulted all constituencies, I know, and he consulted all local authorities, I know, whereby they were given a chance to also give him what it is that they want to hear, that they want government at the regional level at least to look at. So I think that is what we are basically expecting to hear from him.
Mr. Shapumba, in the health care sector of the Kunene region, what are your expectations or key expectations pertaining to this year's SORA that will be tabled shortly after 10 o'clock?
Yes, for sure. I expect the Honorable Governor to make some references to how government play an important role into the control of the diseases, into the supporting of interventions in terms of financial support, resource mobilization in Kunene region in particular, but in general in the whole country, on how the diseases were controlled, people were attended to at our health facilities in the region. So he will make that references as to how government was very supportive in the health intervention to improve service delivery to our community and to improve the welfare of the people.
Now, speaking about service delivery, especially as you move outside the key towns of the region, you would see that the roads are not so in a good condition. Once this challenge is addressed, how do you think it can positively contribute towards the development of the region and various towns to better the lives of its communities?
Kunene region is a region that thrives on tourism. Lately, mining has also entered that space. Now it's basically to look at how these two industries can collaborate with each other. Me having a tourism background, I know, coming from the conservancies, I know how it goes. But the challenges with especially with the roads and so on, when it rains, that's where our real struggle starts. But the governor, being him, being a hands-on, the road between Corigas and Fransfontein is at a fairly advanced stage, and that will also boost the the economic situation of the councils, because it comes with employment opportunities for locals. So that is what we are looking at. And then also, just to add on, as Alan, one would also need certain aspects to be addressed. For example, you get at local authority level, you get councillors that are employed. Now these councillors, they must also get leave from their places of work. So those are the challenges that we as Alan would want to address, whereby we would say that no, when a councillor that is employed by a certain institution goes for local authority council activities, he must be paid, because that's where the challenges are. The challenges are. So I just deviated a little bit from your question, but it's something that I just thought that need to be addressed also.
Definitely. Mr. Shapumba, the Kunene region also remains very central to the preservation of cultural norms and values. I must say that as you go out from this region, that diminishes a bit. What lies in economic opportunities pertaining to cultural norms and values, and how can we actually capitalize on that and channel it through the SORA, as well as just beyond the SORA, to say once we do this, we are able really to also reduce the unemployment rate and stimulate economic development in the region?
Yeah, I think it is important that the SORA will be an eye-opener in terms of government development agenda to improve socio-economic development in the region. People will be able to understand what is the government plan and the priorities in terms of addressing the needs of the people. But equally, it's also very important that the SORA will help the people to change their minds, to see that government is doing something, government is working, so that they can have trust and confidence in their government. I think that is very important. Now, the government plan, the government programs, and the government priority activities will also be able to help healthcare service delivery. You have talked about accessibility, for instance. The health of the people can only be improved if people have access to healthcare services. One way to do that is to improve the road infrastructures, to improve the telecommunication networks, and as well as to improve the bridges, for example, so that during the flooding, when patients are to be collected from the remote clinics, for example, then vehicles, ambulances, they have an access. This is only possible when the road infrastructures, the network, as well as the bridges are in place, so that accessibility can be improved. In that way, we will improve the health and well-being of the people through service delivery provisions.
Now, talk to us about sports facilities, for example, or the lack thereof in the region. How should the governor address this in his SORA speech for the year 2026?
Yeah, looking at the current 4 councils, local authority councils we have, during our independence celebrations in March this year, what happened is that the office of the governor really came through to renovate some parts of the Korikas sports stadium, the Herbert Conradi Stadium. But we would want to say that it's not enough. It must still come back and do more on that. And then also, they always say that they have the best sports facility in basically not in the region but in the country. I don't know whether it's an exaggeration, but nevertheless. But the one that really impressed us is the Kamayap one. Kamayap does not have. The current sports facility that is used basically by the community is the one of the school, the Kamayap combined school. But I've heard through the grapevine that Kamayap will get a sports stadium and then also a pupa. And then after those ones, let's also have a look at a constituency like Sesfontein, for example. What is it that can also be built for the youth in Sesfontein? Because you must remember that Sesfontein has a lot of lodges, and basically normally one knows that it's the youth that work at these lodges. Now, when they are off, because Sesfontein is a bit far, so when they are off, at least they can come and get busy there, or you can get music bashes, for example, and through that you empower the community. So basically, on the part of the sports facilities, I would cry and I would want to see that more must be done for that.
Now, Mr. Shapumba, as the Regional Health Director, talk to us about the significance of improving infrastructures pertaining to healthcare facilities to ensure that really our people have access to basic healthcare services.
Yes, the infrastructure needs is a priority of the Ministry of Health and Social Services in the region. But before we go to infrastructure, we say that accessibility for healthcare services has started with the outreach health services to different points in the villages. This particular saw that outreach services is the best starting off. You cannot have a clinic in every village. That is practically impossible. So we do outreach to reach everybody through outreach services.
Now, also talk to us about, like I said, your expectations and what the people of the Kunene region can actually do to ensure that they too bring their part pertaining to service delivery, as well as really just to uplift the developmental agenda of the region.
Yeah, for sure. We need to collaborate as land ministries. We need to collaborate as stakeholders in our quest to seek good development agenda and the health service delivery in our region. Now, the support of one another is the key. We cannot achieve everything on our own. We need to work together as stakeholders to support one another, to help one another in order to achieve what we set for ourselves in terms of achieving the healthcare service delivery goals and the objectives. But if you are to do things on our own and ignore the other stakeholders, we will go no further unless we really foster that culture of togetherness, to work together going forward. So I expect also that the SORA will be emphasizing that type of collaboration with the stakeholders so that together as a team we can able to achieve our goals we have set ourselves.
Mr. Shapumba, also we've seen that these SORAs are delivered by all 14 regional governors across the country. Talk to us about the significance of this State of Regional addresses.
They are very important because they are constitutional obligations, they are constitutional mandatories that each governor of the regions is mandated to deliver the State of Regional address. And that is very important. That is that everybody, every citizen, responsible citizens, expect that address to come forth one of the good days. And today, for Kunene in particular, is our day. We want to hear what our political leadership, our governor, will have for us in offer to tell us what is the achievements and what is the plan going forward. So that is every Namibia citizens is looking forward, particularly here in Kunene, that our leader, our governor is with us to share with us what he wants to share with us in today's. It's a joyful day really for us, and we're looking forward to see this day realized, and today we are here.
Now, talk to us about the significance of really attaining the set priorities that will come out in this speech, and also the importance of really support from those in leadership positions to ensure that they drive the region's developmental agendas forward.
Yeah. No, it must support. It must start with supporting our political leadership. We must support our governor on behalf of government as our political leader on all plans and priorities and the development programs he has for the region. Now, as the technical people, we must support the governor, to support unwavering support, to provide unwavering support to the honorable governor, so that the plan, the programs and the activities he have, particularly those who will come out in the SONA, will be realized during the implementation phase. So we must come in a big force to support so that these plans and programs can be realized. So we must be able to do that as a whole, as stakeholders, as ministries, as offices, agencies, without fear and favor.
Mr. Shapumba, thank you so much for dissecting that is, or unpacking what your expectations are for this year's SORA as the governor of the Kunene region walks into the hall to take to the podium. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
That was the Director of Health in the Kunene region, that is Thomas Shapumba, talking to us about his expectations from this year's SORA that will be tabled shortly by the Kunene Regional Governor Vipuakuje Muharukua.
Okay, thank you.
The region of possibilities, as per his terms, and the conviction towards the growth of our Kunene region. Honorable Governor, we observe you alongside Commissioner Erickson Clay and the representative of Allen in Kunene, Honorable Thomas Adams. Yes, we have observed the arrival of our Honorable Governor. I believe we are all set and ready so that we take our national and AU anthems for the proceedings. Thank you. We may be seated. Thanking God to Hame. Honorable Vipuakuje Muharukua, the Governor, the Kunene region, Honorable Western Muharukua, the Chairperson of Kunene Regional Council, in absentia, Regional Councillors, I see Honorable Gaingop, the Regional Councillor for the constituency of Ocho, Honorable Amtenya, the constituency councillor for Kamanyab, and all regional councillors present. His Worship, the Mayor, Honorable Kasipo Kakondo, the Mayor of this beautiful town of Opuo, where we are seated, in absentia, and I believe he should be represented, and because I see a number of local authority councillors in our midst for Opuo town. Are the mayors of different towns of this beautiful region of Kunene. I see the mayor, the deputy mayor, the mayor of Korikas, Ocho represented, Kamanyap chairperson, and all local authority councillors present. A regional commander, Commissioner Eric Pietres Clay, and all distinguished service chiefs present, heads of corporate and government institutions, traditional authority leaders, our respected leaders present, and in our midst. I cannot afford to call you by names, but we all recognize your presence. Bishop Abiola Karunga, and all clergy leaders present, media representatives, I see NBC, MICT, and others, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I am Victorino Simon, a member of the Opuo Local Authority Council. I will be the director of this morning's proceedings, a very important occasion that calls the governor to deliver or to address the region on issues pertaining to the development and the growth of this beautiful region, the region of possibilities, according to his terms. I have a small program in my hand, and I believe it should have been shared to all of us as invited guests. And allow me to just shortly take you through our program on how we are going to deliver it, and then proceed with the day's proceedings. Rutenga baya kurachwa na odidi, na kucha eyuva enande ngudi nondi, ndimatuka purate na komuna ne orukondwa gumeketupa ovyune bino china no mekurithiro no ngaendero orukondwa retu rwa Kunene. Before I take you through the outline of the program, allow me to invite our Bishop, Abiola Karunga, to please connect us with our Creator so we may afford to proceed with our program. Bishop.
The Honorable Governor of the Kunene region, Honorable Vipuakuje Muharukua, greetings, my senior, and thank you for the opportunity granted to bless this auspicious event with a prayer. Let me stand on the protocol as it has been established by the Director of Ceremonies. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Let us read this morning from the Word of God as is written in the Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 and 6. A very common verse. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. Seek His will, and He will show you which path to take. When we were doing the constituency memorial service for the late Chief David Kamuhap in Kamanyap constituency, I happened to be the sermon deliverer, and I was speaking to chiefs, to councillors, and to the local leadership. And I was reading from the book of Deuteronomy, where David, Moses, the servant of God, was speaking to the Israelite nation. When you seek to put yourselves chiefs or presidents or governors, whoever, councillors, these people must have a copy of the law of God. This is what the Bible says. Whether you are the governor of the region, whether you are the constituency councillor or the local authority councillor, whether you are the chief of your tribe, whether you are the CEO, wherever you are leading, even if you are the father at your own house, you must have a copy of this law, the Word of God. So this morning the Bible says, do not lean on your own understanding, but seek His will in everything that you do. As we are hearing the State of the Region address by the Honorable Governor, I call upon leaders in Kunene region to seek the will of God in everything that they do and not to lean on their own understanding. And the Lord will show them the path in which they have to go. Honorable Governor, ladies and gentlemen, let us bow our heads to open this occasion with a prayer. As you are seated. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the blessing of leadership and for the gathering which we have today for this State of the Region address. We lift up our governor to you. Grant him the wisdom of Solomon, the integrity of David, and a heart that is dedicated to serving all his people. Thank you for our leaders in our community, the residents of Kunene region that are gathered here this morning. Bless our communities with unity, peace, and economic growth. May the decisions made today bring prosperity and hope for our future. In the name of Jesus Christ, your Son, Lord, we pray. Amen. Thank you very much, Directors of Ceremony.
Thank you, Bishop Karunga, for connecting us to our Creator, and indeed within your sermon, ensuring that you enlighten, loudly and clearly, vividly stayed out unity as the core. Going forward with our program, allow me to shortly invite Honorable Thomas Adams, the Deputy Mayor of Korikas Town Council, and equally the Allen representative in the Kunene region, to give us the welcoming remarks. Honorable Adams.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Honorable Simon. Honorable Governor, I would like to start with, since I'm speaking after a bishop, that the stone that was rejected by the builder shall be the head cornerstone. And so shall it be. Honorable Governor, the Regional Council members present here, those in absentia, local authority councillors from all 4 local authorities in Kunene region, Korikas Town Council, Ocho Municipality, Kamaya Village Council, Opuo Town Council, Commissioner Eric Clay, our regional commander here in Kunene, all representatives of ministries present here at our SORA, our State of the Region address, Director Thomas Shapumba, our Regional Director of Health, all other directors present here, our chief regional officers of local authorities present here, I see them, I acknowledge you. Members of the media, traditional authorities, the GAUPs, the chiefs, the Ombaras, their advisors, everybody from the traditional authority space, in whatever capacity here. Ladies and gentlemen, Moro, Kain Tuas, More. Thank you. This morning, Honorable Governor, I have a very, very powerful yet simple task, and that is to do the welcoming. And part of doing the welcoming is also to welcome you, Honorable Governor, to your region. We have come here with bated breath. We want to hear, what is it that government is going to tell us? What is it that we want to hear as community members and as inhabitants of this vast region? This is a special region with special needs. So, having said that, each and every one here is welcome to this statutory process that must take place. I don't want to be asked questions again. I also acknowledge correctional services. Please, Commissioner, and your delegation, you are welcome. Having said that, what is it that government, through the governor, is having in store for us? There are so many outcries about service delivery. There are so many outcries about what it is that we as inhabitants of this beautiful yet vast region are aspiring to achieve, and we want to hear. President Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah, the president of this country, saw it fit to bring a young, energetic gentleman of the region to be her mouthpiece and execute programs that is in the NDP 6. That is what we want to hear, Honorable Governor. We don't want to hear other things. We are not interested in that. We are interested in the betterment of the lives of your region. You have never disappointed us. I can say that. You have never disappointed us. Regardless, the challenges that I am also aware that you face. But you stand up. You put out your chest and say that, another challenge. So, having said that, everybody, please, our governor will come and he will talk to us. I rather not preempt what it is that he will say, but at least I made sure to say that service delivery is at the heart of our people, all included. That is why we have a fully packed hall here. It's fully packed. That just shows the hunger of our people that wants to listen to development and participate. That is the important part. Welcome all. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Adams, for welcoming us to this regional event. Ndangi chinene kumaya kurirongo, wetu yakura uriri, nobumbato rapo mambo evari etatu, eyepa yaritha kucha owa mautungu yetoveni, nepa vaka emborimwe okuda kembo, da unguritha kucha ewe rimwe nda imbirahiwa, ondi marikarira rokochikoro. No wina pa yaritha kucha eyuwa ndorandi nondi, eyuwa ndi matu ango kudhuva imbimbi no china no mekurithiro worukondora kunene no kaviarwe. No matu njire kucha omu ongonea yetu yorukondora yetu ombima iyo kutupa meyuwa ndi nondi. Having said that, we are going to go forward with our program, and I'm confident that we all have our programs in our hands. With that, matukaenda kumurungu no programa yetu no orwede ndwi evanga okukayaritha po okukayanja oruvede dumatutho kupura tena no kutiku kwa paturuka no mutima mupaturuke kokucha obikwae bimatupiwa meyuarandi nondi. With that, allow me to invite our Honorable Governor, the Governor of the great Kunene, to come and deliver to us what is it that is prepared for us. And I call on to all of us to please prepare ourselves attentively, listen and to what it is that is installed for us and for our region. Honorable Governor.
Thank you very much. We may be seated. Director of Ceremonies, Honorable Victor Simon, Honorable Chairperson of the Kunene Regional Council, Honorable Western Muharukua in absentia, the Honorable Councillor Vipuakuje Ihe, Councillor for Poor Urban in absentia, the Honorable Kasipo Kakondo, Councillor and Mayor of Poor Urban in absentia, Honorable members and former members of Parliament here present. I note the presence of Honorable Kawekotora, the Regional Commander of the Namibian Police Force, Commissioner Clay, and Commissioner John Drevu, Honorable Wahekwa Herunga, Member of Parliament and Deputy Secretary General of the SWAPO Party in absentia, Regional Councillors here present, Local Authority Councillors here present. I note the Council for Korihas, Kamanyap, Ocho, and indeed some members of the Opua Council. I keenly note the presence of the Regional Councillor of Kamanyap constituency, Honorable Amutenya, and Ocho constituency, Honorable Gaingop. CEOs of our towns, keenly note the presence of the CEO of the town of Opuo, CEO of the town of Korihas, CEO of the town village council, I'm upgrading you, of Kamanyap. Unfortunately, I'm afraid to make a mistake. I trust Ocho would also be here, but I have not seen the person personally. The mayor is noting that she is not around. The coordinator of the SWAPO Party, Honorable Julius Kauyova, our traditional authorities, all of you here present, spiritual leaders, all of you here present, our heads of departments here present, under Director Shapumba, as I see you, leaders of our youth forums, through Honorable Mox Kenaumwe, conservancy leaders, members of the media, my people of my beloved Kunene region. Kai Kwas. Moro. Khuyemore. A very good morning to you all. We gather here on this Tuesday morning for one purpose, to deliberate on the state of our Kunene region, the region of possibilities. I'm certain that all of us here expect from me today to carry out more than a formality, ticking the boxes that one of the annual duties of the governor has been carried out, i.e., that the SORA has happened. The supreme law of the Republic prescribes that a regional governor shall attend a meeting of the regional council of the region for which he or she is a regional governor once every year, at which meeting shall occur after the President and Cabinet attended Parliament in terms of Article 32(2) hereof. During the meeting referred to in sub-Article 5, the regional governor shall address the regional council on the state of the region and planned activities of central government in the region, and report on activities of the previous central government for the previous year in the region, and be available to respond to questions. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to pause here and address one anomaly and explain why we are here today. Indeed, the purpose of a meeting like this is to explain what government has done in Kunene region. what government is planning to do in Kunene region. And two, and lastly, for me to answer on behalf of central government to regional councillors, voted councillors who are representing people, to answer those questions to the people on their behalf. Late yesterday, before 5, we got information that the regional council would not attend. And true to their word, they did not, except for the 2 councillors. The reason cited is that apparently the lack of finance and ability to travel to Opuo. I must say that the reason is scanty, for the lack of a better word. But I believe Honorable Adams read my mind when he says, we are here to hear about the state of our region. So we are not going to venture into reasons. We are not going to venture into anything negative. We are here to charter a future for Kunene region. I am here to speak to all of you as people of the Kunene region. Indeed, it would have been easy, an easy way out for me to say, well, let's postpone this event. But it would be pretty heartless for a person, a leader of the people, to say, I will not come and address the people of Kunene region. What about the Kayotman Traditional Authority that came from Korechas? What about the mayor of Korechas who is here? What about the mayor of Ocho who has traveled to come and hear 400 kilometers? What about the person who came from Sesfontein? I hear Chief Kasauna is here. Who came from Sesfontein to come and listen to this address, to come and hear about where our region is? What about the person that came from Uchikoyo, where there is scanty network? Why should we deprive them of an opportunity and waste their money when we have a duty to report? The Constitution does not prevent the governor from speaking to the region. So today I'm giving the state of the region, not to the regional council per se, but to Kunene region and Namibia. The Constitution does not prevent me to give the regional council this very same statement. In fact, if I so wish, I can read this statement 10 times throughout this year. So at the time, if the regional council gets to their senses, gains maturity, political maturity that is, I will go to the regional council just as I acknowledge the regional council's presence when they are not here, and address them properly and respond to their questions without fear or favor and with all the love from my heart. Fellow citizens, fellow Namibians, the Constitution is not only prescriptive and compelling, but it carries with it meaning and context regarding what is required of me at this reporting meeting. Fellow citizens, it is within this context of Article 110A that a proper report must be given as to the service delivered to the people of Kunene region. The person in the savannas of Kamanyap must know the state of our region. The Aussie in the plains of SORAs and Muharukua Conservancy must be made aware of the planned development by the government in their localities. The farmer in the thick bush of Ocho must have the benefit of a report of the past government activities in our region. It must matter to the Himba man herding his cattle in the Rocky Mountains of Epupa constituency that Her Excellency Netumbo Nandi Daitwa's government cares to report to him the true state of the Kunene region in its entirety. The Greek philosopher Socrates once said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." The state of the region is therefore, in essence, the evaluation of the state of our region and the livelihoods we derive from it, whether the livelihood that the region gives us is commensurate to the aspirations of our people and the riches that it offers. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Namibians, my people, the duty is therefore to give a version of a true state of our beloved Kunene, as it is, as we all see it, and as we live it every day. We live in a region endowed with possibilities. Hence we say, Kunene region, the region of possibilities. Therefore, the duty is beyond mere reporting of government activities during the financial year 2025-2026, but to expose those glaring opportunities that our region presents to our people, to grab and to turn their lives into success stories. Allow me, therefore, my people, to address you on the state of our infrastructure, agriculture, tourism, education, sports, health and social welfare, mining, and youth development, as part of an honest, frank analysis of the past and future of our beloved Kunene region. I want to do so with an emphasis on how we overcome our weaknesses, conquer our threats, and harness our competitive advantages in the hope that we are encouraged to exploit the opportunities that the Namibian government and the Kunene region present to us. Of course, these opportunities do not exist in a vacuum. They exist as part of a central government policy, positions, and declaration. Chief amongst these is the SWAPO Party 2024 Election Manifesto, the SWAPO Party Implementation Plan, NDP 6, the President's State of the Region Address 2026, the Budget and Appropriation Bill 2025-2026, and the MTEF. This provides the background to my submissions this morning, Kunene region. It is also therefore my duty to report on how our SORA 2025 theme last year, shifting from promise to wealth and progress, has fared and impacted our region. Dr. Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah, Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah delivered her State of the Nation address on 8 April 2026 under the theme, Advancing Towards the Realization of Vision 2030. It goes without saying that our region under the leadership of Her Excellency's government must align and is aligned to the affirmation of Vision 2030 as emphasized by the 8th administration through the head of state. I therefore take this theme and localize it to speak to the peculiarities of our region and the realities faced by the people as we march towards 2030. Fellow Namibians, while Namibia looks forward and remains on track for Vision 2030, it is my considered view that we must endeavor at all costs to move at a pace faster than most regions in the country, to give ourselves a chance to arrive at this developmental state with the rest of Namibia. In Namibia, rural areas are found to be poorer than urban areas. That's a fact. The biggest problem is the interconnected triad of extreme poverty, staggering wealth inequality, and sky-high unemployment. The country's rural-urban divide stands at 59.3% to 25.3% respectively. It is common cause that across the 14 administrative regions of Namibia, the incidence of multidimensional poverty stands highest in Kavango West, Kavango East, and the Kunene region at 6.4%. Unsurprisingly, our region's rural and urban divide stands at 66.3% to 33.7%, respectively. We are therefore compelled to do things in an unconventional manner. We need to think out of the box. We need to design ways to mitigate harsh weather and defy the odds presented by recurrent and unpredictable droughts. We need to find ways to minimize the adverse impacts presented by continuous regional low academic performance. We need our mining activities to provide aggressive capital investments. We need to transform our agricultural sector and operations for its income to justify our efforts and our long-standing belief in it. We need to tap into the talent and sportsmanship of our young people as a new source of livelihood. All this calls on us to be extraordinary leaders with a specific drive for speed in service delivery. We are therefore challenged to reject norms and bureaucracy that slow down our development trajectory. I therefore deliver the Kunene 2026 State of the Region Address under the theme, Kunene Region Fast-Tracking Towards 2030. Kunene Region Fast-Tracking Towards 2030. Fellow leaders, fellow Namibians, we must bridge the development gaps towards 2030. We will do so with absolute precision and efficiency. Honorable members of council, those ones that are here, of course, we need to fill the cracks that manifest in our social safety nets. We must quickly change attitudes and perceptions to own critical government services such as health, policing, and education. Owning these means taking charge of our own government services, which is a responsibility that calls for a positive attitude towards public and government services. When challenges manifest in waiting times at our hospitals, the provision of medicines, consultation spaces at hospitals, we are called upon to remain positive and to tap into our imaginations for solutions, rather than criticize. When our education keeps lagging behind, our approach must be to seek the motivation of the enhancement of performance of our learners and to speak to the commitment of our educators. Fellow Namibians, the government systems must find us halfway on the way towards 2030 in all facets of our socio-economic lives. Kunene cannot afford to keep waiting with open hands until it is our turn. Namibia is too big and the needs are too many. We must initiate our drive towards catching up. Korijas can be a Chivarongo, Opuo can be a Vinduk, and Kamanyap can be Swakopmund, of course without the sea, and Puros can be Grootfontein, and the plans are there. Puros, people from Sesfontein constituency, can be a Grootfontein, and the plans are there. They are in this speech, we shall hear. I am talking here not of the physical appearance, but the commercial activities and the economic outlook of these places. Why can't we look like them? Fellow leaders, my people of our great Kunene, traditional leaders, youth leaders, honorable councillors, business leaders, I see Heno is here, and all those who are serving in various capacities at central government and elsewhere outside the region. Kunene needs you. Kunene needs us all to up our game for our collective future. Kunene is once again calling upon us to blaze the trail, to do so aggressively and purposefully. Kom ons kyk hoe ander streke hulle sake aanpak om oorwinnaars te wees. Dis wat van ons vereis word. Under my leadership, this vision will be informed by statistics. Statistics that present to us threats and weaknesses, the challenges that we must mitigate. Statistics that present to us our strengths and opportunities on which we rely to accelerate our development trajectory towards 2030. I reiterate, no threat or weakness is too big a challenge for us to induce the economic boom we need to create wealthy, healthy, happy, and progressive inhabitants of Kunene region. We stand at nothing to reach at that. Fellow Namibians, this is what drives me on a daily basis. Let us join hands in creating a Kunene economy that others cannot imagine could be ours. Let us give our people the quality of life our people deserve, for we are the richest region in Namibia. The statistics are favorable and the conditions are right. The time for Kunene region is now under the 8th administration and a president who champions economic growth through macroeconomic stability and growth, industrialization and trade, tourism industry for Kunene, natural resource management and beneficiation for Kunene, energy infrastructure for Kunene, sports for Kunene, youth development for Kunene, access to finance and MSME support for Kunene, education and training for Kunene, quality health and social services, Director Shapumba, for Kunene, access to land and housing and sanitation for Kunene, international relations for Kunene. These are the things that Her Excellency Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah prescribes for us to push for as leaders. Under Her Excellency's vision for Namibia and Kunene in particular, there is a slot for everyone. All of us can champion transformation in any sector that we know we can make a positive impact. Chagala Pimbunguha can run away with agriculture. Pitros in Ocho can run away with agriculture. Njoroka Chieura can shape the mining boom. Mamika Sauna and Conseta can open the doors of sports for many sports personalities. Generally Matundu can open doors of international relations for her region. Pete Mostert can lead the way into retail for many. Deli Mutota can transform our water infrastructure. Director Fredericks can accelerate her impact on the education sector under the 8th administration. Director Shapumba has an opportunity to harness the power of all our communities for positive impact on the health sector. We can all have an impact. Let us own our region. Let us own Kunene region, people. And the speed at which our development towards 2030 occurs. And Kunene will be just fine. Let us own this region. I reiterate, the statistics are favorable, Comrade Mox. And the time for Kunene is now. As a champion of research-based policy and decision-making, I urge all of us to keep statistics at heart in policy formulation and in all our decisions. I urge all town councillors and regional councillors and all of those who serve to keep statistics at heart. Epupa constituency is statistically the most populated constituency, accounting for 26,491 of the 120,762 inhabitants of Kunene region, followed by Opua Urban, accounting for 23,934, and Sesfontein has the lowest population size at 8,845 inhabitants. These numbers are growing every year. Kunene's population is growing at a pace faster than the country's average. Korigas is growing at 1.8%. Epupa's population is growing at 3.4%. Opua Urban grows at 5.3%. Opua Rural is growing at a mere 0.3%. Ocho is growing at 3.9%, and Kamanyap at 2.5%. Our average population growth as a region stands at 2.7%, which is higher than the 1.95 national population growth in 2026. This is all the more reason why this theme is appropriate and why we must double our efforts, because increasingly we have more mouths to feed. Our town services have heavier burdens to carry, CEO of Kamanyam. Our maternity wards are becoming more and more essential, and our security cluster needs to continue evolving with our region. Commissioner John Dwevu. It is unsurprising that Opua Rural and Ocho Opua and Ocho constituencies account for the two of these highest population growth rates in the region. Sadly, it paints a picture of urbanization towards the two business hubs of the region. We will note that Sesfontein and Opua Rural have the least population growth rates. It is clear that as leaders, we need to answer the question of economic opportunities in these two areas for them to become vibrant and attractive as the rest of the region. Last year, I highlighted the income per capita for our region stands at 2,000. I further lamented that social grants comprised the biggest part of that household income. I bemoaned that the vast majority of our people do not have disposable income to spend beyond the most basic necessities. I'm the first to admit that my people in Kunene are just surviving. We need not to look far for evidence that Kunene is just surviving without resources for luxury and a better quality of life. If you walk through our streets, the streets of Sesfontein, Okangwati, Korihas, Kamanyap, Opuo, and count the number of homes that have been painted over the last 3 years, it is tough to find ordinary people who have just painted their homes to look nice and to give our towns facelifts. Schools will vouch for me, I'm sure, if I say they find it hard to raise meaningful money from their school parents during fundraising events. These are things that are easy to achieve when society is doing well. But at this level of poverty, this level of poverty is a clear impediment towards the regions arriving at 2030 with the rest of Namibia. In fact, I concede that income disparity constitutes one of the things that we need to fix and to do with urgency if our people are to buy into the belief that Vision 2030 is attainable for Kunene Region 2. However, this address will highlight 2025-2026 year have been a year where the 8th administration has laid serious foundations to improve our people's incomes and quality of lives through government, private initiatives, and investments. Fellow Namibians, our problems must not define us. Our challenges cannot dictate our future. I refuse for our Kunene region to look like its problems. We cannot appear poor because we do not have sufficient disposable income. We have a choice to throw a pity party and allow our people to wallow in poverty, or to take ownership and responsibility towards how our towns look and what they say about us as a people. Let us take ownership towards the outward appearance and command to be given our due respect. I pause here and urge our town councils to give emphasis to our outward look. To this end, the Governor's Office will shortly be announcing a drive that we will be calling the Kunene Facelift. This will be a drive to collect funds for our localities, Korihas, Kamanyap, Opuo, where we will collect resources and seek assistance from philanthropists to ensure that we can start painting houses in our towns. Just a simple paint. As we do that, Tate Jimmy, I think you brought yourselves to the slaughter. I see Tate Siblon is also here. You brought yourselves to the slaughter. I urge all our business owners in our towns that are prominently located along our main streets to give their businesses, through a simple paint roller and a brush, a facelift. It will go a distance into making our towns look good. Having laid this background, fellow citizens, allow me now to turn to the performance of our region in respect of the mentioned specific sectors. These are divided into 3. The social welfare sectors that presents the strength of our region towards 2030, the sectors that are critical to supporting our drive towards 2030, and the sectors that present the low-hanging fruit for fast-tracking our development journey towards Vision 2030. During this address, I will report on the activities of the sectors, unpacking their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats specific to each sector in the context of our theme, Kunene region fast-tracking towards 2030. Fellow citizens, as I start with the social sector, regrettably, a total number of 1,793 individual cases of social ill were reported to the Division of Gender and Social Welfare. 129 cases of substance abuse were reported. 89 cases of attempted suicide was reported. And 46 cases of gender-based violence were reported. These statistics are indicative of cracks within our families and social settings. If not dealt with and minimized, they will continue to pose a threat to our development as a region. We take an example. These 1,793 cases are happening in our homes and are impacting our school learners' performance and eventually our whole regional performance. The 129 substance abuse cases are robbing homes of bread money, are resulting in further social ills. The 89 attempted suicide cases are 89 too many mothers, fathers, our children, and other productive residents of Kunene region that see no hope for tomorrow. The 2026 gender-based violence cases, or the 46 gender-based violence cases, are 46 cases too many that we are exposing our region to. Statistically, a household in Kunene comprises of 3 individuals. If one is to say that 1,793 social ill cases were recorded, this means at least 5,379 people in Kunene are exposed to some sort of social ill. Now these are the reported cases. How about those that are not? These statistics are a threat to our development and a weakness in our social strata that must be eliminated. I'm therefore pleased to report to the region that the government through the region established the Kunene Regional Suicide Prevention Task Force, and an elderly committee and 2 welfare organizations were recommended and approved for registration. The social services sector continues to respond to the growing social challenges facing our communities. The Division of the Marginalized Communities continue to support vulnerable, destitute households, particularly amongst the Ovatwa, Ovachimba, and San communities. Through the special feeding program, monthly rates are provided to 2,354 beneficiaries in Ocho, Kamanyap, and the Pupa constituencies. These rations go a long way, not only in eliminating hunger, but also government's attempts to curb social ills, exploitations, and abject poverty. The division also provides transport assistance to 302 learners from rural areas in Ocho and the Pupa constituencies, respectively. In education support, a state-of-the-art early childhood development center was constructed at France Serenkop in collaboration with the Palm of Life Fund. The renovation and construction of works were also undertaken at the David Kamchap Primary School, while the Ongava and Haikum joint venture supported hostel block renovations. In agriculture, a 2-hectare community garden was revived at Farm Balalaika for the Haikum San community. And fencing and material was provided for the envisaged Ahomba community garden awaiting feasibility studies. These interventions align with NDP 6 priorities on social protection, disability mainstreaming, indigenous minorities, food security, and community resilience. The Directorate of Disability Affairs continued to strengthen inclusion and access to services for persons with disabilities. To this end, the government has distributed 45 wheelchairs to persons with disabilities. During the year under review, 64 new persons with severe disabilities were identified and assessed under the individual support program. 80 assessment forms were forwarded for approval for social grants. In addition to the 64 with severe disabilities, another 265 persons with disabilities were identified and registered. A total number of 331 persons with disabilities were therefore referred for various services, while 191 accessed different services, including 24 youth with disabilities linked to temporary employment opportunities. The region has also identified and assessed 8 students with disabilities for funding, with several students supported in tertiary education. Inclusion must not be symbolic. It must be practical. A just Kunene is a region where persons with disabilities are seen, supported, and empowered. This approach tells us that we need everyone on our journey towards Vision 2030. Persons with disabilities are not necessarily incapable. They are mostly just different abled. And as Kunene region, we care to use every single human capital at our disposal towards 2030. We therefore thank the government and the directorate in mainstreaming differently abled Namibians. Ladies and gentlemen, it is impossible to create livelihoods we want without a healthy society. My people, we must take care of ourselves. For what is the point of creating wealth when you cannot enjoy the wealth due to ill health? Therefore, we must appreciate the work that Director Shapumba and our health professionals are doing around the region to keep us healthy and alive. The Ministry of Health and Social Services recorded commendable progress during the year 2025-2026 financial year. I'm informed that the Kunene Directorate of Health and Social Services achieved 100% antiretroviral treatment. 92 of the tuberculosis patients that were treated were successful treatments and lives were saved. The Directorate achieved 90% antiretroviral load suppression and 89% continuity of care. Not to detract from this success, but I urge the community leaders to take hands with health professionals to ensure that we reach maximum antiretroviral suppression, that we reach 100% continuity of care and 0 new HIV infection rates. I'm informed that maternal child health indicators improved significantly. During the period under review, maternal mortality ratios improved to 37.5 from a baseline of 139. Neonatal mortality reduced to 50.5 per thousand lives, while under 5 mortality reduced to 5.1 per thousand lives. Cervical cancer screenings exceeded its target, reaching 433 women against a target of 400. Please clap hands for Director Shapumba. After we clap hands for you, Director Shapumba, the latter service is a very, very critical gynecological service for our mothers. I urge that we challenge ourselves and push the boundaries by setting new challenging targets for this year. Maybe let's try 1,000 to reach 1,000 people. A total of 176 staff members were recruited across clinical, allied health, administrative, and support categories, including 113 enrolled nurses, 18 registered nurses, and 8 medical officers. The Environmental Health Service also made progress, I'm informed. Indoor residual spraying reached 91.2% of target coverage. That's to prevent against malaria. The region distributed 13,070 long-lasting insecticide-treated nets against malaria once more, treated 289 open water bodies, and distributed 75,828 water purification units. Our health inspectors also inspected private health facilities, conducted professional inspections, and community trainings. fellow citizens, I urge us all again to take ownership of our public health system. Health remains central to leapfrogging Kunene into 2030. Because a productive region must be a health region, our health facilities are critical to our health, and health professionals are at the center of ensuring a healthy citizen. We know the sector continues to face constraints. The lack of medicine is one that has lately reared its head. I can assure you that the 8th administration is working around the clock to ensure that expectations of our citizens are met. We require just a little patience. The other night, I received a call from one Tapi who was lamenting about the lack of ambulances, and our people are abundantly aware of the level of service they need from our public health sector. This is indeed a sign that the ministry continues to raise the bar, and therefore expectations also. When you travel to other communities and countries, you realize not many nations can boast of a health sector that we do. So this sector remains one of our strengths and presents opportunities towards Vision 2030. That said, we need to benchmark against the best. Therefore, Director, I urge that we clear up shortcomings that are within our reach of the region. Equally, I urge our people to recognize and understand the strenuous conditions under which our people operate to make sure that service is delivered. These health professionals are human beings with flesh, blood, and emotions. They are our children. Kunene has a very good example in the form and name of the late Mr. Kamendu. May his soul continue to rest in peace. The jack of all trade. A mortuary assistant who doubled as almost everything at the Koriha State Hospital and actually succumbed to death during the execution of an ambulance driver's duties. That's the level to which our people go to help us. They do everything. This level of commitment must motivate us to own our health sector, to become problem solvers rather than complainants. The commitment of our health professionals must teach us the patience and appreciations. Can we please give the ministry a round of applause? This appreciation, I urge, must be extended to the Ministry of Safety, Immigration through the Directorate of Home Affairs, Immigration and Civil Registration and Border Management. The department and the police force. The ministry continues to provide important safety, policing and civil registration, immigration and border control services. I must highlight also that the Namibian Correctional Services has also become an integral part of the Kunene region through the work that they do and envisage to carry out at the new Kaoko Otavi Correctional Facility. The statistics earlier highlighted depicts a positive population growth. It is not only because of biology and our maternity wards. The net migration is a factor. The net immigration is a factor in our population growth. While we recognize that people migrate for opportunities where they can make a better living, immigration must happen within the confines of the laws of the receiving state, failing which immigration can pose a threat. As such, we must commend the work of the Directorate of Immigration. During the year under review, the Directorate processed a combination of passports, visas, permits, citizenships to a total of 2,102 across Opua, Ocho, and Korihas, collecting 332,500 Namibian dollars in revenue for the state. A total of 411 illegal immigrants were apprehended, of whom 18 were charged and successfully prosecuted. A total of 401 illegal immigrants were deported. Surely more must be done to document immigrants and to ensure that every foreigner in Namibia and in Kunene at large, in Namibia at large and in Kunene, is known and accounted for. Apua today increasingly looks like a border town, and Ocho today increasingly looks like Apua. It is clear that these two towns have become doorways for migration and havens for undocumented immigrants. These are just facts. While we appreciate that immigrants help us to fill the gaps in sectors that Namibians do not desire to be employed in, it is imperative that all those who are within the borders of Namibia should be accounted and recorded. It should be documented and recorded and accounted for. Indeed, the lack of officially gazetted border posts between Kunene region and our northern neighbors continue to be a concern. Thank you. It's back. Please give me a chance to drink water. I ended where I was saying the lack of officially gazetted border posts between Kunene region and our northern neighbors continues to be a concern and a catalyst to illegal immigration between the two countries. This matter has, however, been on the radar of government for years, with Onungurura and Ochumuhaka having been approved for gazetting. I urge that documentation and control must be a focus for the current year for the division. I am mindful that the ministry conducted consultations on this matter on 22 May 2026. We await the results and implementation of positive changes from these consultations. The Directorate has registered a total of 3,824 births within the region. Of these, only 310 were registered within the year of birth, meaning 3,514 are late registrations. By 2023, only 66.2% of children under 5 in Kunene had been registered in the year of their births. Fellow leaders, civil registration means and remains central to identity and dignity. Our communities must be sensitized of the importance of registering births well in advance, and not when there is a need for social benefit and other public services. Equally, technocrats must be mindful of the need to reach the communities where they live and pursue this practice aggressively. No child should be excluded from school because of missing documents. No vulnerable person should be denied a grant because of a lack of identity. No citizen should be invisible in the records of the state. In this regard, I thank the Ministry for the targeted mobile outreach programs that saw registration of 1,652 citizens in Ocho, Korihas, Kamanyap, and Sesfontein. I am happy the Ministry continues another outreach that is currently underway for civil registration to the Ovatwa, Ovachimba communities within our region. Our people are urged to take advantage of this outreach. We further applaud the Directorate for the 7,386 identity document applications processed during the year under review. The Governor's Office remains open to support ideas that will assist us in ensuring that we account for every person working on our soils in Kunene region. Not only to guard our farmers from threats of farm borehole water pump theft, livestock theft, arson and other crimes related to illegal immigration. Such records will also provide our region with necessary statistics to know the human capital available to support us in our journey towards 2030. In law enforcement, the Namibian Police Force continue to be one of the best performers of our public service in the region under the leadership of Commissioner Clay. Can we please give Commissioner Clay a round of applause? The Namibian Police Force in Kunene recorded a positive downward trend in reported crimes during the period under review. Total reported crime decreased from 2,683 in 2024 to 2,282 cases in 2025, representing a reduction of 401 cases, approximately 15% lower. These improving trends continue into 2026, the current year. For the period between January and March, the reported cases decreased from 559 cases in 2025 to 525 cases in 2026 for the same period, representing a reduction of 4.4%. The major crimes concerned also declined between 2025 and 2026. Assault cases decreased from 487 to 417, a reduction of 70 or 14.4 cases. Housebreaking decreased from 280 to 268, a reduction of 4.3%. General stock theft decreased from 267 to 230, a reduction of 37 cases and 13.9%. Robbery decreased from 39 to 30, a reduction of 23.1%. Murder cases from 10 to 5, a reduction of 50%. Rape cases from 56 to 44, a reduction of 12 cases and 21%. Overall data shows that all listed major crimes categories declined in 2025. However, assault, housebreaking remains the dominant crime concerns in the region. Despite the reduction, violence is still happening, it seems. The reduction in crime is attributed to improved policing methods, early interception of offenders, strengthened public visibility, targeted police operations, and enhanced cooperation with communities through neighborhood watches and farmers' anti-crime structures. These partnerships have improved community-based crime prevention and strengthened public safety. This is when we talk of owning our public service. However, the region continues to face operational policing challenges. The major constraints including poor network coverages in many areas, weak communication systems, and poor infrastructure, which makes it difficult for police officers to quickly reach certain areas of jurisdiction. But government is busy working, and the speech will show later. We thank Commissioner Clay and his entire force for the professionalism they continue to depict and the efficient crime prevention service we enjoy. We are safer because of you. The police force has been a major driver of employment in the region, with a staff complement of 929 members. We are glad to have had 131 new graduates for Kunene region in the last intake. Indeed, the presence of a professional force in the region deters perpetrators of crime. It gives confidence that perpetrators of crime will be apprehended, tried, and if convicted, be channeled to the correctional services for rehabilitation and correction before they return to society, hopefully as reformed members of our society. Commissioner John Dwelu. This is why Kunene region is happy at the presence of the correctional services at Kaokotavi. Please give them a round of applause. We will continue to support the good community-based work and the service that the correctional services is engaged in. Not in my speech, but the correctional services has made sure that Otavi has a clinic that wasn't there before. Collaborative work between the ministries of government and community. In due course, I'm informed they will also be making sure that food security of the region is ensured from Kaokotavi. Commendable work. Let's give him another round of applause. The above highlighted constitutes our social sectors that amount to strengths in our region's path towards 2030. I now turn to the sectors that are critical enablers to fast-tracking towards 2030. Education remains one of the sectors that is a bridge between poverty and opportunity. Fellow citizens, parents, education is the elephant in the room. You cannot talk of development if the foundation of our young people is not set for molding their personalities, mentality, and physical preparedness for the region we want to create. If I am to be frank about the state of our education, I would say it presents one of our weaknesses for the region. Whilst education is an enabler, the current weakness and the lack of performance from our learners stand in the way for us to build sustainable wealth and to create a workforce that can cope with the level of development that is due to our region. The problem, ladies and gentlemen, is that it takes 12 years to take a child through formal education and an average of another 4 years to completely train a professional or an artisan. That is a full 16-year education cycle. Since independence, fellow members of Kunene region, we've had 2 of these cycles. The question is, can we say with confidence that we have at least used one of these cycles to create a generation of citizens that can propel Kunene region to the next level? The answer is not in emotions, but statistics. Numbers don't lie. What truths are the numbers reflecting about our regional preparedness and participation in pre-primary organized learning? What are the numbers saying about our net enrollment and rate of completion at primary level, our lower secondary and senior secondary rate completion? And what are the numbers saying about the score of our top learning institutions in relation to the rest of the country? These questions will tell us where our education system is in relation towards our vision 2030. Kunene's literacy rate for persons aged 15 years and above stands at 63.9%, confirming that education remains one of the region's highest development impediments. We cannot run away from that. Education, therefore, is a central part for our strategy to fast-track our development of our human capital, upon which the region will rely as we head towards 2030 and beyond. I'm informed that overall, the plans are to focus on expanding access to education, improving school infrastructure, strengthening specialized education, renovating aging facilities, and addressing rural service gaps, especially in underserved constituencies such as Epupa, Opua Rural, and Opua Urban constituencies. Therefore, In the 2025-2026 financial year, the government, through the Directorate, implemented several major capital projects across the region. These include the construction of the Kunene Resource School in Kamanyap, Phase 1, which has reached 95% completion, Honorable Nico. With a hostel block, classroom blocks, ablution facilities, kitchen, dining hall completed, while electrical connection remains pending. The Directorate also constructed Module 2 classroom blocks with storerooms and ablution facilities at several schools, including Etoto West Primary School, KM Maundu Primary School, Katutura Primary School in Opuo, Ocho Project School, and Elias Kamhab Combined School that I've earlier talked about. 8 classrooms and administration offices, computer laboratories, school libraries, and ablution blocks at Omsaso and Okongo Combined Schools were constructed and 100% complete. Please, let's clap for Medira Direni and her team. During the 2026 Grade 12 intake, the Directorate faced serious challenges with space to absorb students who upgraded their Grade 11 marks from institutions such as NAMCO. I was consulted on that. The Directorate ensured the temporary measures to absorb those students at Ocho Secondary School, while a new secondary school is being constructed at Otosha Port. The school project secondary school phase 1 progressed significantly well, reaching 98% completion in record time. We inspected this school with the mayor of Ocho. I can attest to that. It is expected that the school will be in full use by August 2026. The Directorate is also renovating classroom floors at Kadutura Primary School, which is almost complete at 98%, and undertaking major renovations of classroom, dining hall, and hostels at Omureti School in Opuo Urban. The Omureti School project has been budgeted for at $60 million. It stands at 20% implementation, whilst it is expected to be completed within 18 months. Our government, your government, Kunene region, does invest in Kunene region. The evidence speaks very loud. Other 2026-2027 projects include the Kunene Resource School Phase 2 in Kamanyap, continuing at Kamanyap, with the work at 50% completion, and the Opuo Project Secondary School, also referred to as Ochurungondo, which is at 5% implementation after fencing was completed and the contractor moved on site. The Opuo Secondary School project, the Opuo Project Secondary School will include 20 classrooms, science and computer laboratories, and a library and ablution facilities. The Ocho Project Secondary School Phase 2 is also progressing well and at 80% completion, with physical infrastructure completed, finishing works such as tiling, painting, paving, aprons underway. The Directorate also plans to drill boreholes to improve water at schools, mainly in Epupa and Opuo rural constituencies. For the 2026-2027 financial year, the Directorate plans to implement several important other projects, including the construction of 3 model classrooms, blocks, with storerooms at Kadutura Primary School, Ocho Primary School Project Primary School, KM Maundu School, and Okondaunwe Combined School. This project is budgeted for at 6.4 million and currently stands at 40% implementation. Once again, government pumping money, over $100 million Namibian dollars and more into Kunene region for the education of our children. What more? What more can we say to the President of the Republic, the 8th administration, and central government? Numbers speak for themselves. Numbers don't lie. The government cares for Kunene, no matter the votes. The 2025 grade 11 results painted a bleak picture, ladies and gentlemen. Yet an encouraging picture of the level at which our students are performing and must improve. Indeed, we did not do well, but the year's performance was an improvement for the previous year. Therefore, we say it is bleak, but it is encouraging. And to me, specifically encouraging because the engine room has consulted. I will say it, I've consulted them, the educational leadership, and I shall continue to explain why I'm saying we did not okay, but we are going to do good. I must thank Director Fredericks and her dedicated team, Deputy Shipalanga and inspectors for notable ongoing interventions that are rolled out to improve the performance of our schools. This is engine room things. Through teacher capacity building efforts during the year 2025-2026, a total number of 817 education professionals were trained. Our teachers received training, made up of 415 primary school teachers, 296 secondary school teachers, and 106 school managers. I was invited by the leadership to address teachers of the Opuo and the Pupa circuits in Opuo. ETP, I think you know that. I must say, our teachers are willing to work. They're hard workers. Our students are not stupid. They are as competent as any in the country. We are not stupid. Our children can deliver. With the current leadership, I trust that we will be able to turn things around and that our education will be one of the catalysts for our speed towards 2030. I'm pleased to report that Lieutenant General retired Ndenga Ndaitwa, the first gentleman of the Republic of Namibia, has availed himself to attend to our region for a series of motivational talks with our students. In this regard, we are planning to have a week and a half worth of motivational outreaches to a number of schools throughout the region. This initiative will include the first gentleman's addresses to the Kunene boy child. In this regard, we call on all influential achievers and role models from Kunene region to express their availability to our office to join the first gentleman in these efforts to uplift our children. We call upon absolutely everyone that is thinking that they can have an impact. Pastor Daniel Muharukua, all of you will be required to help our children. The region is particularly grateful for various philanthropists who have continued to impact our learners through donations to our schools, especially infrastructure development. Ochinungwa Primary School, Okatumba West School, Ombadu Primary School, Okandombo Primary School, Okaua Primary School are some of the schools that have benefited from this goodwill from our friends. Overall, Kunene region has made strong progress in expanding and improving education infrastructure, training teachers, strengthening school management, and mobilizing donations. Fellow citizens, the continued failure is not an option. Our education system We must ensure that our education system produces the desired outcome, equal to the rest of Namibia, or even better. It is evident that government has done a great deal of investment in the Kunene region to bring us to par. I'm sure Mr. Principal Chuma and Honorable Kauyova will attest to that, having been in this region for a very long time. I therefore implore all of us to own our education system. We must all take responsibility for the discipline in our schools. We must become creative in resourcing our schools, and we must be deliberate about the output from our students. Each elected leader, each school board member, each parent, each traditional leader, each retired commissioner is important for our learners' education. Our education and the challenges associated with it must be tackled head-on, swiftly, decisively, and meticulously. In this regard, a consultation was held between the governor and the education leadership in the region surrounding a turnaround strategy for better academic performance. I have the confidence that Director Friedrichs and her team will take our young people far. Young people are important. Development is not development unless it encompasses the shaping and development of young people through education and other special youth development strategies. At the present, our 36.6% unemployment rate amongst our young people is a cause for concern and needs to be bridged to ensure that we are on course for Vision 2030. The fact that our employment rates amongst females stand at 45.7% exacerbates the problem and creates the pressing need to accelerate our efforts towards developing opportunities for our young people. Young people are worthy contenders in upscaling our production. They can employ, innovate, mine, farm, manufacture, trade, and build. I am a proud governor to say that we have not been idle on the plight of young people. Our youth must not be spectators in the economy. This is why the government continues to aggressively pursue policies that are aimed at pushing young people to the fore as critical enablers of our vision towards Vision 2030. Fellow Namibians, fellow citizens, throughout the period under review, government has made it a point to aggressively pursue youth development, focusing on making serious strides in uplifting young people based on their capabilities, capacities, and ability to fit within the bigger picture of our development vision. During the period under review, government has done a great deal in laying a foundation for proper acceleration of youth development in our region, against a critical enabler for fast-tracking our development towards 2030. I believe the time is right for our young people to comprise the next group of Namibian millionaires. Why not? We will provide vision, leadership, and policy to amplify the current government initiatives underway. Notable progress and efforts by government have been made to provide jobs. The road construction works between Koregas and Kamanyap has absorbed 143 young people in direct employment, with the Opuo-Ochivide Road having absorbed 22 young people and aiming to absorb 178 more in the current financial year. There are 11 young people absorbed on the Opuo-Ote Bridge, with the prospects of 90 more to be absorbed when the project is in full swing for the bridge construction. I am informed that the project to construct schools around the region has absorbed a total of 253 young people. 34 young people are absorbed by the Opuo Aerodrome construction project. Therefore, government has notable efforts and successes at employment creation through infrastructure development projects. As indicated earlier, the police has absorbed 131 young new officers. The Namibian Correctional Services has absorbed 60 young people from our region. The health fraternity has absorbed 176 young health professionals. Bakwetu. Onohoromende, Kajina Jaru. I'm confident that the number of recruits on construction works throughout the region will increase drastically as the different projects reach full operation. Recruitment of 30 more employees on the Kamanyap-Korihas Road will be underway in July 2026. I know Honorable Nico will be angry at me as to why I did not inform him earlier, but that's a fact. Recruitment of the Okangwati Basic Sports Facility will be underway in July 2026. That's the month starting tomorrow. Young people will be recruited in Okangwati. The recruitment for the Kamanyap Basic Sports Facilities will be underway during July next month in Kamanyap. Recruitment for the Franz Fontaine Crusher will be underway in July 2026. Not next year, tomorrow. This is as a result of the foundations for development and youth empowerment that the 8th administration has laid throughout the year under review. I am confident that our employment figures will continue to rise, as I said, throughout the current financial year. Watch the space. It is, however, noted that the jobs created this year are not the type of jobs that we can say are within the scope of empowerment needed to fast-track our region towards Vision 2030. Just the truth. State a real state of our region. Truth, veritas, numbers. Last year, I made it a point to demonstrate that our localities do not have sufficient business activities happening. We need to think out of the box in order to bring our people to the mainstream economy. It's a fact. Foundation for the right type of jobs have been laid by the 8th administration during the year under review. Indeed, government has come through for our young people in supporting models of business operations and cooperatives that will help our young people to catch up with the rest of the country towards 2030. Funding opportunities must be exploited to tap into critical markets requisite for economic growth and business activities that are commensurate to our efforts. During the period under review, 31 youth-owned businesses were funded through the Namibia Youth Credit Scheme. That's in Kunene. Epupa Youth Investment CC received equipment valued at 300,000 under the 121 Constituency Youth Enterprise Program. 19 young women completed basic tailoring training, while 30 young people were trained in perfume production. The registration of Unified Poultry Cooperative Limited in Kamanyap and the mushroom production equipment provided to the Korihas Youth Group are positive examples of these youth enterprises that we need towards Vision 2030. Youth empowerment continues to receive our utmost attention. Government is genuine when it says, let us put a name to unemployment. We mean what we say when we say individuals must prosper so we can all be winners. Hunger and unemployment are personal problems to each individual young person. Every individual young person, therefore, has a part to play in improving our employment figures. Each person has the uniqueness, just as each piece of a jigsaw puzzle has its individual shape that only it can complete. To this end, the Office of the Governor has aggressively pursued youth empowerment initiatives during the period under review. Various government consultations have been brought to the region as facilitated by the Governor's Office, to engage young people with the aim to equip them with information on how to exploit government policies and to make a better living for themselves. During the year under review, the Ministry of Finance consulted a community hall packed with young people in an information session for the Youth Development Fund. This resulted in 93 young entrepreneurs being identified for funding support. Further, during the year under review, the Development Bank has broadly consulted business communities in Opua, in this very hall where we are standing, and again returned to the region to train the young people who succeeded in securing the National Youth Development Fund. To this end, I am proud to report that Kunene Gemstones and Polishing and the Opua Tannery and Leatherworks are due for funding after members were trained and are awaiting company registration with BIPA. D-Curve Agro Supplies youth business from Kainatsep in Kamanyap constituency, Honorable Nico, have received their funding and business is underway. Honorable Nico is there. I must stress, fellow leaders, Youth Development Fund is continuous, please. And young people can continue. Young people are encouraged to continue applying. The Governor's Office continues to receive feedback on the status of various applications from financiers of the Youth Development Fund. Our office remains in contact with the applicants, guiding them as to what to amend on their proposals. We continue to lobby for many more young people to attain the needed funding to kickstart their business enterprises. Social Security Commission has attended to the region with information sharing sessions on their social funding programs around our communities. These are funding for community-based projects that we must step into to improve our localities. During the year under review, the Omakange Youth Farming Community Group is also a successful beneficiary for this fund. With our literacy rate, leaders must immerse themselves into actively helping communities to apply and lobby for the success of these community project applications. True to our commitment to young people, the region continues to champion models of development focusing on niche products and high-value goods. To this end, many young people obtained beekeeping training and received equipment to commence business under the Kunene Regional Capital Foundation. The young people received all equipment necessary to commence the business of beekeeping, from production to marketing of bee products. The 15 bee boxes that they received for beekeeping have been taken to a Tunda irrigation scheme in Umsati, and I'm pleased to report that the boxes are all filled with beehives and are ready to return home for production. We thank the mentor of this project, Mr. Kapuku Ruchindo, for his guidance of our young people. We also thank the Directorate of Forestry in Kunene region for their continuous technical support towards our young people. Not forgetting our neighboring region under Honorable Shikongo for the beehives and bee species availed for us to use. The aim is that these young people will increase the beehives to a total of 200 beehives, which will make Kunene the biggest honey producing region in Namibia. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we mean when we say leapfrogging. Think big, out of the box, and operate fast. Youth empowerment is not only a social issue, it is an economic leapfrogging strategy, therefore, in line with our vision. Government, therefore, continues to empower and focus on capacity building infrastructure and structural changes that will impact young people's lives. Hence, the capital project for the Opua Multipurpose Youth Center progressed with a consultants appointed and site handover for the feasibility study and design completed in February 2026. A total of 2,608 young people accessed sexual reproduction health and rights services through the Napa clinic in Opua. A further 365 young people were empowered through life skills programs across several constituencies. For that, we thank Ms. Kakongo. I saw her here. Please clap hands for her. The challenge is also upon young people not to want to become wealthy and millionaires through overnight money and unstable wealth flaunted at bars, pubs, and dance clubs. It is also not the job of leaders. It is not the job of a governor, councillor, the town council, to force young people to rise to the occasion. Young people must look for societal problems and be imaginative about long-lasting solutions to our regional problems and solutions that will earn them real wealth. Our distance from services, the lack of food production, and the processing within food production and processing within the region, the lack of water infrastructure are all gaps that our young people can exploit to catapult our region into Vision 2030. He who masters the solution to our lack of water sources in our region will become very wealthy, because water is central to our vision and the speed at which we will operate henceforth. Young people must grab the opportunities when the conditions are right. Indeed, water remains the single most important development question in Kunene region. We need water for our agriculture, our schools, our clinics, towns, mining, and tourism. Water is life, and an abundance of water is critical for us to provide in abundance for our localities. Therefore, in line with our theme, Kunene region, fast-tracking towards 2030, we say water is a critical enabler for our vision. Kunene must therefore fast-track the exploitation of our water sources to make use of water effortless for our communities, mining and agriculture operations. Many settlements and rural communities continue to experience water scarcity, long distances to water points, borehole failures, and inadequate water infrastructure. Government has taken cognizance, Ms. Katurota, that many of our towns continue to suffer and brace through the lime-clogged water pipes, yet our towns face mammoth deaths with numb water that are impossible to clear within reasonable foreseeable time, we know. Therefore, government has made continuous efforts to improve access to clean potable water for our communities. During the period under review, existing water points were rehabilitated. 25 existing water points were rehabilitated through rural water supplies. We thank Ms. Mutata and her dedicated team for that. Please give a round of applause. Short pipelines were constructed in Opua Urban, Ondore, and Newland Post 14 in Sesfontein, the constituency of Honorable Nanup. Not Nanup, what's the guy's name? Web, yes. And in Epupa constituency, the constituency of Honorable Kuoko. Please inform them when you meet them. Under community conservation and intervention, under the community conservation interventions and Kunene conservation support, a total number of 25 boreholes were drilled. From these 25, 15 were successful and 10 failed. The failed boreholes remind us, traditional leaders, that government takes serious risks with funds to cater for our communities. Therefore, I once again urge those communities who are fortunate to be first in getting water supply to take care of water infrastructure, please. The use of alternative energies for water supply is what we need in this region. and that we must move towards to ensure that the lack of pecuniary resources does not become a barrier to access to clean, potable water. In this regard, we thank the Elephant Human Relations Aid for collaborating with government to ensure that 13 water points in the Korihas constituency and Sesfontein constituencies are converted from diesel to solar pump. Last year, I had reported that government was hard at work in determining possibilities on how water catchment can become part of the broader Kunene drought mitigation and food security strategies. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow citizens of Namibia, this here is a matter that is very close to the heart of Her Excellency the President. This was part of my initial and very, very stern marching orders. I must report that the Kunene multi-purpose water facility and livelihood enhancement project is on the horizon in the form of one of the biggest catchment dams in the country. I'm informed the size close to that of Nekartal Dam in the south. In this regard, I thank the hard work of dedication by a team of experts and ministries. The Minister of Finance, the National Planning Commissioner Director General, the Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Land Reform, NAMWater, the Environmental Investment Fund, and of course, Her Excellency the President for the progress made in this critical project. I therefore report that the pre-feasibility report identified a number of sites for the construction of the dam, and it is now confirmed that the most viable site for maximum benefit is that of Puros in Sesfontein constituency along the Haruseb River. I led a high-level delegation to the potential dam site, and even as a non-expert, I'm happy at the prospects of what the project could mean for our region. The technocrats, of course, are also excited at the magnitude of this life-changing project. The timelines for implementations are short, strict, as demanded by the head of state. We are on course for construction to commence during the coming financial year, with construction envisaged to be concluded by the year 2030. We are optimistic that the Kunene multipurpose facility, water facility, and life enhancement project is one of the critical enablers for us for the speed we need to adopt towards Vision 2030. Fellow Namibians, the Kunene multipurpose facility and the multipurpose water facility and livelihood enhancement project is not merely a dam or a water storage facility. It is a multipurpose development platform intended to support domestic water supply, irrigation, livestock pasture management, agricultural productivity, tourism facilities, mining, and industrial water needs. The justification is therefore very clear. This will directly answer the question of economic opportunities. Economic opportunities in Sesfontein and Opuo rural constituencies that I have earlier highlighted. The whole of Kunene region stands to be transformed through this initiative. This major strategic infrastructure is a priority for Kunene region. The project and designed as a long-term water security, livelihood, climate resilience, and productive infrastructure intervention. The project has therefore been formally and on an urgent basis registered with the National Planning Commission as a priority infrastructure project. The Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Land Reform has committed $10 million towards the feasibility study. However, an estimated total of 50 million Namibian dollars is needed for the feasibility study, and work is underway to ensure that the total amount is available during the midterm budget review process. The project shifts us from emergency water responses to strategic water-led development opportunities in Kunene region. I urge villages such as Varamkwele, Ochilongombe, Ochapichapi, Omuramba, Sesfontein, Okatapati, and others to put Fourth, their interest and how they want to benefit from this water in abundance during the feasibility study consultations. Also on water, government has, through NamWater, secured water in abundance for Opuo through the discovery and drilling of various water boreholes on the Ombadu aquifer. I don't know whether I should say this in a Chiherero. Horomende o de umbutuka na omea mujitoporomu ya ithapo mai ithapo no donjombo ndatoporwa no mea nedeva ndirikihi yo virongo chino lombadu na ko upawe iha mikumbadu horomende kajina jalo kuwa hindiro lombwanjo. I'm informed that NamWater drilled and tested 20 boreholes at a cost of $13.4 million. It is reported that the yield of these boreholes amount to 180 cubic liters per hour. When we talk of abundance of water as an enabler of faster move towards Vision 2030, this is the type of facts that we rely on. I'm informed that this water provision is 70% more than what Opuo needs. The next phase involves the design and procurement of pipelines and related infrastructure, with construction expected to commence in January 2027. We must make sure that these sources do not pass the communities from where the water emanates. This abundance must have an impact on those villages. To this effect, communication is underway with NamWater to ensure that villages through which the pipeline is passing benefits from this abundant water source. Again, young people are urged to think out of the box on the solutions they may give to societal challenges using this water and the infrastructure that government would invest in to secure this water. I also want to say this in a Chiherero. Omewanga chima yedo ko lombado nguma tuhe nguma yako puong. Fachango mbapira ko horomende kuchomewanga ko NamWater kuchomewanga ngayate mo mbadu aye kapita uliri. Ngayate mo ko upawe aye kapita uliri. Ngayate mo binyangi aye kapita uliri. Omitanda ya binyangi kulipuru kuchiruchanya maruru chitivi. Yaka ndombo kuchiruchanya maruru chitivi. Yako upawe, vya chirumbu, vya mbavu. Mikulithiro, kapolotika kaka. Development, simple development. Matungula katono kunyanda. The government is working. We are not playing. Honorable Kingo, Honorable Nico. Ladies and gentlemen, investments that will be unlocked by these water sources will not be optimally used with the requisite speed unless other critical enabling infrastructure such as energy sources, roads, and rail are in place. We need these to curb our infrastructural deficit that slows down our economic development transformation. I'm elated to report continuous efforts to bring Kunene to par with other regions and bridge our infrastructural deficit. The government continues to pursue the Baines binational hydropower project. With the road access currently underway, the feasibility study for the power line linking Angola to Namibia has been underway and is currently at a very advanced stage. The transformation line is envisaged to transmit 400 kilovolts of electricity, covering 176 kilometers into Angola and 173 kilometers into Namibia, from the Baines to Ruacana. This transformation line is expected to be in operation by 2030. I'm pleased to report that in December 2025, we commissioned the Jerez solar project in Ocho constituency, Honorable Keingop, a 19.3 megawatt solar energy plant has been erected on Farm Jerez in Ocho district at the cost of $20 million, equivalent to $33 million in Ocho at the time of Honorable Asino as councillor there. The plant has the potential to feed 5.8 gigawatt hours of clean power annually into the 400 kilovolt Jerez substation in Ocho. Just to put it in context, this is enough to power 14,000 homes, the whole of Opuo rural constituency, with its 14,000 population. If Honorable, my uncle, chairperson of the regional council, was here, I was going to read what stands there to say that let's take hands and pursue aggressively to get your constituency these investments. But when they invite me, I will tell them that the region continues to receive interest from various players in the renewable energy sector, especially the solar energy industry. The region needs energy to fast-track our development. Again, I urge Namibians from all regions, not just people from Kunene, everyone, to take advantage of this opportunity that Kunene presents, as well as clean fuels and technology for cooking and emissions reduction technology. I pause here to address the town councils. Opuo, grab the space for clean energy. Grab the space for solar energy. Korijas, do not reject clean energy. Ocho, pursue clean energy aggressively. Kamanyap, look for it. It is here. You need it. Energy, especially clean energy infrastructure, will push Kunene on the right path and at the right speed for 2030. So, this infrastructure is important for our region, is as important for our region as roads, rail and airport infrastructure. That is currently underway in the region. Road infrastructure remains one of the most important foundations of development in Kunene region. In our region, a road is not simply a road. It is access to a clinic. It is a learner reaching a school. It is a farmer reaching a market. It is a tourist reaching a conservancy. It is a miner accessing a claim. It is dignity. It provides safety and unlocks opportunity. Last year, I labored much about roads and other logistics infrastructure that can propel us into new economic activities and make Kunene a logistics hub. Therefore, allow me to be very brief on these projects during this address, especially in light of the fact that I have already earlier highlighted on the jobs, opportunities that these capital projects provide and created. In this regard, the MR76 Phase 2 section, a project between Kamanyap and Korijas Road, is underway and is progressing well. This will form part of the broader 416-kilometer transport corridor between Swakopmund through Hendy's Bay, Uis, Korijas, and Kamanyap. And I want to pause here also just to emphasize one thing. Last night we learned that Uis has been declared a town. Uis has become a town. And I will explain why this address is all about that. And why before 2030 that can come to Kunene. It is possible. It is not far off. Just believe in your government. This corridor that I've referred to from Hendy's Bay is strategic for tourism, mining, trade, agriculture, and regional connectivity. It is expected that the project construction will complete on 15 December 2027. The upgrading of the D3700 road from Opuo through Okangwati towards Matheratundu, particularly Phase 1 Section A from Opuo to Ochivide, is another critical project. This section covers 75 kilometers and forms part of a road of a major local and regional importance. The project started on 9 May 2025 and is estimated for completion on 10 May 2027. Again, allow me to pause. The NBC must just be patient. This road connects Namibia to Angola directly. Town councils, if permission is granted, I will be reaching to you to take some of you to Angola, because Kunene has been invited to Angola. The project has, however, been delayed, and it is likely that the completion date will be revised accordingly. I'm informed that the implementation is at 1%. It is, however, encouraging that the contractor has established site and funding is available. We should therefore see more dust in the coming weeks on the road between Opuo and Okangwati. The new Opuo Aerodrome Phase 1 project represents a strategic investment in regional connectivity and logistics ability. It includes the construction of an access road, security fencing, guardhouse, storeroom, electrical installation and borehole system, and related external works. As of March 2026, the project has reached approximately 35% progress. Certified works amounted to 11,274,346 Namibian dollars and 29 cents, representing 29% of the approved contract sum of 29,183,034 Namibian dollars and 37 cents. The aerodrome positions Opuo as an administrative investment, tourism, mining, and logistics hub. If Kunene is to leapfrog towards Vision 2030, it must be connected by road, air, digital systems, and reliable utilities. On this project, I am of the considered opinion and urge the ministry to consider upgrading the Opuo Aerodrome to a cargo airport to cater for various strategic developments that are due to the region, such as rare earths, gold, mining, grapes, and other agricultural products. Ladies and gentlemen, this leads me to the sectors that represent low-hanging fruits for our region, which comprises agriculture, sports, mining, and tourism. Agriculture is what we know. Agriculture, therefore, remains the foundation of livelihoods and survival in Kunene region. The 2023 population census shows that farming as a main source of income has declined from 31.6% in 2011 to 16.2% in 2023. This decline is a warning sign that rural livelihoods are under pressure. This demonstrates that agriculture is not free of constraints, with drought being chief reasons amongst them. Our agriculture is therefore impeded by the lack of reliable markets. Our competitive advantage in that sector is in the availability of land and our resilience and our indigenous knowledge in our ways of farming. I'm of the considered opinion that none of these challenges are insurmountable and that a lot of work is already underway through government to mitigate these challenges. The Directorate of Agriculture, Production, Extension and Engineering Services reached 1,174 farmers through training, information days, demonstrations, and mentorship. The livestock sector remains central to the economy, culture, and livelihoods of Kunene region. The Directorate of Veterinary Services continue to protect animal health, improve disease surveillance, and enable orderly markets of livestock and animal products. During annual vaccination campaign, 224 crash pens were targeted. A total number of 72,633 cattle were vaccinated against contagious bovine pleural pneumonia, and 21,022 cattle were tagged. A mass dog vaccination campaign vaccinated 4,857 pets, while a total rabies vaccination coverage reached 6,170 pets, about 53% coverage. Rabies awareness reached 4 schools, 53 staff members, and 1,155 learners. Pleural pneumonia surveillance sampling collected approximately 408 samples from 51 crash pens across the 4 constituencies north of the veterinary cordon fence. 30 casual workers were engaged for these 3 months. Kunene, south of the veterinary cordon fence, reported vaccination of 7,400 cattle against lumpy skin disease. In the agronomic sector, 2,564 beneficiaries were supported through plowing and seed intervention. This notwithstanding, I must lament, fellow leaders, the directorate, that NAMSIP tractors failed Kunene region. And Honorable Nashihwa will vouch for me when I say this. Many farmers were delayed from planting. Many farmers were prevented from even putting seed in the ground. In a region where rain is as uncertain, we cannot afford lapses and expect that we will have a better prepared equipment for 2025. I expect that we'll have it for that season. By this, I mean that I want a report from the ministry on the readiness of these tractors within the next 2 weeks, since I am not finished with this detail for the purpose of this SORA. The challenges notwithstanding, the state plowing services covered 530 hectares and supported 594 farmers, while private tractors supported 139 farmers. 27 beneficiaries benefited from 363,811 Namibian dollars in subsidies support for poultry farming, and 7 farmers benefited from $178,915.45 for horticultural production. The government spent a total of 2,222,028 Namibian dollars for agricultural related support programs in Kunene region. Please, can we please clap hands for our government? Times are changing, the climate is changing, and our communities must be equipped with modern agricultural techniques. The Opuo Rural Constituency, through the councillors, highlighted the need to support small-scale farmers through training, feed, storage, and veterinary services. I'm pleased to note that Opuo Rural is one of the constituencies that will be directly impacted by the Kunene Multipurpose Water Facility and Livelihood Enhancement Project through irrigation. The project can help move Kunene from drought response to productive rural resilience. We must work together and get our people ready for this development. And that call goes to the Regional Councillor, Honorable Western Muharukua. In the quest to answer the question of markets, Honorable Gaingop, be pleased that I'm reporting that Ocho constituency is earmarked to benefit from the Kunene Agri-Hub project, where 60 farmers are due to be part of the Kunene Agri-Hub producers. The project will directly employ 150 young people from your constituency, Honorable. I must thank Honorable Councillor Gaingop for the first list of 30 young people that you have proposed for employment in this regard. We will continue to rely on your support to make Ocho the breadbasket of this region. Namibia still imports 44% of its vegetable consumption. Kunene intends to fill part of this gap as we exploit our opportunities towards 2030. This hub will irrigate a combined total of 21 hectares of vegetables production and envisages producing vegetables for Ocho, Korigas, and Kunene, and Opua. The aim of the hub is to start at commercial farmlands and move to provide livelihoods in our communal areas during the next financial year. 500,000 or $500,000 was spent by the Governor's office to this effect. Following binational familiarization and technical cooperation with the Huila and Kunene provinces in Angola, Kunene region in Namibia successfully identified its horticultural potential. Our office, the Governor's office, has also hosted a team of experts from Angola and championed research that shows that Kunene region is rightly positioned for various crops such as citrus, grapes, blueberries, maize, and white cowpeas. These are low-hanging fruits that our communities and our young people should venture into in order to fast-track our economic development and edge as we edge towards 2030. Since we are at agriculture and fisheries, I must lament the fact that Kunene region does not have any activities related to the mammoth fishing industry. No direct employment emanates from it into the Kunene region. These are 21,000 direct jobs that bypasses the region, and 14.3 billion that we have no direct impact on in money. This deficiency is largely due to the lack of a harbour. We continue to advocate for the Cape Freya Harbour project to come to fruition in order to edge the region into the I think this project was championed during the time of Honorable Kauyoga. I can see he's saying continue. In order to edge the region into the logistics and fishing sectors, fishing companies, I must lament also, continue to exploit the marginalized identity of communities in Kunene region and Namibia at large without necessarily giving back in revenues and social responsibility, corporate social responsibility to eliminate these marginalized status. I want to extend my profound gratitude to Karibu Fishing that donated close to 300,000 towards the Kunene Regional Capital Foundation to the micro business owners of Kunene. Be pleased to take note that this money will be used as a catalyst of micro businesses in the constituencies of Opuo, rural, urban, and Epupa. I also pause here to say I'm pleased and grateful to Ms. Musaso for donations having been made to the office for us to enable the Governor's office to give Christmas rations to our communities. Please clap for hands for her. She's not just screaming and clapping for the Governor, she's doing the job. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow leaders, I turn to the sports fraternity as a low-hanging fruit to catapult Kunene region into 2030. Out of the 120,762 inhabitants of Kunene region, only 23,208 are above the age of 40. I'm amongst one of those, the 40s. But we are only 23,000. That is to say, 97,554 of our people in Kunene fall within the age bracket that should be fully fit to engage in one sports code or another. This explains the healthy sports tournaments that attracts thousands of supporters on at least a monthly basis in our region. It explains a healthy Kunene Second Division Football League. We are a young, fit, and talented region. Our young people have proven themselves time and again. Last year, our under-20 boys football made us proud by winning the Newspaper Cup in Ocho. This year, our boys were finalists who led and conceded a fatal goal in the last minute. I'm still angry at Honorable Kandundu. I saw him here. Where is he? I saw him here somewhere. We could have won that game. Kunene was very, very close to retaining the cup, and we'll get it next year again. Our netball team for the same tournament has consecutively reached the quarterfinals. Our girls do this without a formal netball league to continue shaping their talent and skill. It is remarkable that notwithstanding this challenge, they are not counted amongst the lowest netball teams in the country. It goes without saying, fellow leaders, that there is room for Kunene to dominate sports throughout Namibia. There is potential for our sportsmen and women to derive a proper living from sports. We must therefore harness the energy, talent, and spirit of our young people to encourage team sports and individual sports. For sports is a worthy and viable economic sector that has proven itself to uplift societies. This is why it is high up on the list of priorities of NDP 6 and the SWAPO Party Manifesto. Therefore, in line with the SWAPO Party Manifesto and government has not only made commitments, but serious investments for the commencement of construction of basic sports facility. When I say not made commitments, the governor has gotten the money. It's in the governor's office's accounts. If these things are not done, you ask me, not central government. The money is given to the regions. For the period under review, our basic sports facilities are located at Okangwati, at the Pupa constituency, costed at 10 million Namibian dollars. I'm happy to report that I have given instructions that construction must commence within the next 2 weeks. The contractors, I don't know whether any is here. Construction of the Okangwati sports facilities must start within the next 2 weeks. The second site for construction is Kamanyap. Madam CEO, now you are smiling. I give direct instructions to you, Madam CEO. And where's Chairperson? And Chairperson, I know he's here, I was just with him now. That construction and site handover must happen within the next 2 weeks. Young people must be employed, young people must play. We have seen what attraction infrastructure can be to sports tournaments and related economic activities. Ocho is testament to that, in that it has become a household name in big sporting activities, Honorable Mayor. It is with that inspiration, that we have gone to all lengths to secure the renovation of the Herbert Conradi Stadium in Korihas to the tune of 2 million Namibian dollars, which is currently underway at 65% completion. We hope that after this renovation, Korihas will become another household name in sports activities for Kunene region, and Connie will be happy. We trust that the renovation works are the beginning of the revitalization, Honorable Mayor and Honorable Deputy Mayor, of Korihas as a town. its ports and related economic activities. This project must link with the Kunene facelift project that will be introduced very soon. Comrade CEO. I now move on to mining. And when I move to mining, we must keep UIS in mind. We said UIS. UIS was worse than Kamanyap. UIS was worse than Kamanyap. Today, UIS is a town. Mining. Faith in government. Mining represents the biggest low-hanging fruit to catapult our region well into 2030 ahead of other regions. And I repeat, mining represents the single biggest catalyst to propel Kunene into 2030 ahead of other regions. I will repeat it in Ojeherero. I'm sure there's no need for Damara translation. No, there is. If it wasn't for the NB, I will say it in Afrikaans. Odomine morukondo letu o chinachima chitore huporetu okuithaputuli okuchatuka pite o utumbe wana mimbi yawehe mwana mimbi yanyi. Odomine. What is mains in Afrikaans? Mainwerk. Is it mainwerk?
Ja, mainwerk.
Mainwerker is die beste ding wat ons kan doen as 'n streek, Kunene streek, om seker te maak ons is ryker as enige ander streek in die land. Mining is therefore no longer a peripheral matter in the development agenda of Kunene region. It is one of the region's strongest emerging economic pillars and must be treated with the seriousness, structure, and strategic focus it deserves. When I say that, there is a mining indaba in Cape Town every year. I went to that. Town councils must make sure that they are represented at the mining indaba. Of course, subject to your minister's approval. If Kunene is to leapfrog towards Vision 2030, the region must convert its mineral endowment into organized production, local value addition, community empowerment, employment creation, and sustainable regional wealth. And again, I want to pause and say one thing in Ojeherero. I hear there's a dispute in Umuhonga over a mine. Some people saying mining must not happen. Others saying mining must happen. As governor, I say, those ones that are saying mining should happen at Umuhonga should stop at nothing to ensure that livelihood comes to Umuhonga. Umuhonga community was stopping the Umuhonga school from being constructed. Were it not for Councillor Muharukua, my father, that school would not have been constructed. Today, it's serving Umuhonga. Leaders, don't take the easy way out. You brace through the hardship and take the people where they need to be. Facts are clear. I think Mitri Kavari there will help me. Otherwise, if I say it in Ojeherero, I'll be very angry, so I'll proceed in English. The facts are clear. Kunene is underexplored, geologically diverse, community linked with and full of high upside mineral potential. Its mineral landscape includes base metals, rare metals, precious metals, industrial metals, dimension stone, gemstones, and critical minerals. This positions the region as one of Namibia's important emerging mineral frontiers. As part of 24 June 2024, Kunene region recorded a total of 2,447 mineral rights granted or under application. This comprises of 486 granted mining claims and 1,341 mining claim applications, bringing a total number of mining claims to 1,827. The region also recorded 118 granted exclusive prospecting licenses, and 493 EPL applications, bringing the total number of EPL applications and/or licenses to 611. In addition, there were 7 granted mining licenses and 2 mining licenses in application, bringing the total number of mining license interest to 7. Between 1 April 2025 and 31 March 2026, 608 mineral rights were processed for Kunene region by the ministry. These included 406 mining claims and made up of 79 granted mining claims and 327 applications, as well as 202 exclusive prospecting licenses made up of 18 granted and 184 applications. I want to pause here and just explain why I'm referring to these numbers. I'm referring to these numbers so that you can know and see the interest that there is in Kunene region. Now, I do not want to ask how many of us from Kunene region form part of that statistic. I don't want to be disappointed. But wake up. The momentum is labeled the Kunene mining rush. When I was in Cape Town at the mining in Daba, someone said, "You are from Kunene?" "Yes." "You are the governor of Kunene?" "Yes." "Oh, that's where they say you have a Kunene mining rush." The world notices Kunene. Are we noticing Kunene? The Kunene mining rush continues into 2026-2027 financial year. From 1 April 2026 to 24 June alone, the region recorded 318 mineral rights granted or under application, consisting of 23 granted rights and 295 applications. This includes 194 mining claims made up of 20 granted mining claims and 174 applications, as well as 124 EPLs made up of 3 granted and 121 applications. During the period 1st April 2021 to 31 March 2025 to 31 March 2026, mineral rights revenue collected from Kunene region, and I want you to take note of this amount. Kunene region has contributed 5,551,741 Namibian dollars and 80 cents. This included $217,154.33 from mining claims. The rest, 5,253,533 Namibian dollars and 44 cents from exclusive prospecting licenses. This is how much other people, foreign companies, international companies, are putting in Kunene. 81,050 from mining licenses. This revenue consists of application fees, annual fees, and penalties, and confirms that mining is already contributing to public revenue even before the region's full potential development. Kunene is reported to rank as the second highest region after Erongo in a number of mineral rights granted and pending applications. This is a strong signal that investors, prospectors, and small-scale miners and mineral rights holders are likely looking at Kunene as a serious mineral frontier. Our responsibility is to ensure that these interests do not remain only on paper, but translates into responsible exploration, legal mining, local empowerment, mineral beneficiation, community benefits, infrastructure development, and long-term regional growth. This is where small-scale miners become important to our regional development agenda. Small-scale mining can become a practical pathway for rural employment, youth enterprise, and local beneficiation, and community wealth creation. But it must be organized, legal, safe, environmentally responsible. The region must therefore work with the Ministry of Mines and Energy and environmental authorities, traditional authorities, and EPL holders, investors, and small-scale miners to create a structured support framework. However, the sector remains undercapitalized, technically unsupported, and in some areas vulnerable to illegal and informal practices. Let me pause here and say, one day, the minister and myself went to Onguta, where we found an illegal mining activity. It is public information, it was on TV, where people have been mining gold for 2 years. Gold. Your government is securing your minerals. The minister stopped the activity, and the area is ring-fenced. No EPL will be given in that area. A serious government, serious about Kunene, serious about developing us. The Department of Mines Construction continues to strengthen mineral governance in Kunene through its Opuo office, which is established into 2020. There is a clear need to establish 2 fully fledged departments of mines offices in Opuo and Korihas, staffed with administration officers, geologists, inspectors of mines, mineral rights officers, and other relevant technical personnel. Such institutional strengthening would make a turning point for our mineral governance in Kunene. It would make service delivery more consistent, responsive, and technically sound. Another challenge is the absence of payment facilities in Kunene. Clients cannot make payment locally because there is no pay point. This creates unnecessary delays and disadvantages local miners and prospectors, particularly those from rural areas and rural communities. Pay points must therefore be introduced to improve access, efficiency, and service delivery. A further challenge is fragmented mineral ownership, and small miners must listen. Many local mineral rights holders, especially mining claim holders, prefer to hold mineral rights individually. While this is understandable, it often limits their ability to access government support programs, equipment schemes, and technical assistance. Financing, and markets. The region must therefore encourage the formation of cooperatives to enable collective mineral rights ownerships to improve governance, share equipment access, stronger bargaining powers, and participation in national development initiatives. Speaking to the small miners as I pause, I notice a lot of mineral rights holders keeping information to themselves and operating in silos. This is not for their advantage. The industry works based on seeking investments. All the companies that we are talking about that has EPLs are not putting their own money into it. They are making sure that they list themselves on the stock exchanges. They are making sure that they raise funds to ensure that they have funds to explore and therefore continue to mine. We must become clever. Korihas, Opuo, Okangundumba, everywhere. We must make sure that we have formations through which we can solicit investments, and investments that will not rob our people, but investments that will make sure that we are optimally taken care of as a region, to go and look like UIS. Beyond the current small-scale profile, Kunene must now sell itself as Namibia's exploration frontier. The region's The region is prospecting for gemstones. The region is prospective for gemstones and pegmatites in areas such as Epupa, Ochihipa, Orupembe, Kangwati, and Opuo Rural. Dimension stone opportunities are linked to areas such as Kamanyap, Korihas, Ocho, Palmwag, and Sesfontein. Industrial minerals such as limestone, dolomite, gypsum, clay, silica, and salt are linked to Ocho and Korihas. Korihas, Kamanyap, Sesfontein, and the Ruacana Aziz. Base metals such as copper, zinc, lead, nickel, cobalt are associated with Opuo Rural, Sesfontein, Orupembe, Epupa, and Palmwag. Precious metals such as gold and silver are linked to Sesfontein, Orupembe, Epupa, Ochihipa, Opuo Rural, and Korihas. Critical minerals such as lithium, rare earth elements, vanadium, manganese, and titanium are linked to Ruacana, Epupa, Ochihipa, and Orupembe corridors. The investment opportunities are therefore broad. Kunene requires junior exploration companies, technical partners, geophysics companies, drilling firms, geological mapping specialist dimension stone developers, quarry operators, industrial mineral producers, mineral processing firms, beneficiation partners, equipment suppliers, and mining service providers, and laboratory operators. Let me pause there. The list of things that I have listed, young people, Ragwatero, these are all opportunities that Kunene do not have. When people say we cannot reach 2030, when people say 2030 is politics, these are opportunities beyond and above agriculture and water that government is ready to assist. The DBN is ready to assist. The Youth Development Fund is ready to assist. Your government is ready to work for you. The government is ready to work for Kunene. It is the job of Kunene to take the government's hand. The government is not and will not be to blame if we don't want a mine. Last year, I said I am bringing $1 billion project to Ondore. Those ones that are passing Ondore will note that that investment has started working. But true to the culture and nature of Kunene, politics have entered. I'm now being told that project has become a SWAPO project. How? What are we doing to ourselves and our future generations? Let's work. Let's get investors and let's prosper with the rest of Namibia. This aligns directly with NDP 6, Natural Resource Beneficiation Agenda, and the national priority of wealth creation and employment creation. It also speaks directly to Kunene's own economic reality, where unemployment remains high, business and non-farming income remains limited. Many rural households still depend on social grants. Much work is underway to ensure that no minerals from Kunene leaves the region as raw material. While communities remain poor, the wealth beneath the soil must translate into livelihoods above the ground. Let Kunene be known not only as a virgin region of mineral possibilities, but as a region where mining becomes a pillar and a driver towards 2030. Fellow citizen, the promise in our mining operations and mining prospects gives me the hope that government will deliver on its goal for the people of our great Kunene region. I now turn to the final low-hanging fruit that presents serious opportunities for our region and its people. The tourism sector. tourism in Kunene is characterized by private and community-led conservation operations. The blend between these and other attributes creates conditions that will enable tourism to make our region into the next level of wealth creation as we edge towards 2030. Ocho and Kamanyap, with its commercial farmland, are home to serious profitable game breeding operations that brings into our region mega profits through unforgettable trophy hunting experiences. Our communal lands and conservancies are home to some of the high-end niche African lodges where tourists flock to enjoy breathtaking sceneries as they enjoy our fauna and flora. Rhino conservation remains one of Kunene's most important conservation achievements. The region hosts one of the world's most significant black rhino population, with rhinos roaming freely across communal landscapes alongside local communities. Community rhino rangers programs continue to play a critical role in monitoring anti-poaching community awareness and protection of these animals. Our 38 registered communal conservancies cover vast landscapes from the Skeleton Coast to the highlands of Etosha National Park. These conservancies represents approximately 40% of registered conservancies in Namibia and supports more than 50,000 people across and over 43,000 hectares of communal land. I must pause here to say that that's a significant figure, but we can do better. Kunene's conservation model is not only about wildlife protection. Government policy is to ensure that the operations and development models that places communities at the center of natural resource management, tourism benefit sharing, employment creation, and rural livelihoods. Through the conservancy system, local communities have legal rights to manage wildlife and benefit from the natural resources. This makes conservation a practical vehicle for inclusive development, especially in remote rural areas where formal employment opportunities may be limited. The region is internationally recognized for its conservation successes involving desert-adapted elephants, free-roaming black rhinos, desert lions, leopards, Hartmann's mountain zebras, black-faced impala, and the iconic species and other iconic species. The Kunene conservancies provide critical habitats outside formal national parks and creates wildlife corridors that allow species to move across rivers, deserts, and mountain ecosystems. This landscape also protects indigenous plant species, including the Welwitschia mirabilis, and sustains ecological processes essential for biodiversity conservation. During the period under review, conservancies in Kunene generated a combined income of 28,991,930 Namibian dollars and 20 cents. Of this amount, approximately 9,588,789 Namibian dollars was allocated to salaries, wages, and community members' benefit, including payments to community game guards, conservancy staff, and in some conservancies, community teachers. Fellow citizens, government continues to seek ways in which income from our conservancies can be enhanced and amplified. To this end, government policy has been to allow tourism and trophy hunting joint ventures between conservancies and private operators, which today remains the largest source of conservancy income, amounting to 67.2% of total income of conservancies. In some conservancies, such as marine flues, tourism-related activities account for the entire income base. This demonstrates the importance of wildlife and landscape cultural heritage as productive assets that if used optimally, can swiftly usher us into our National Vision 2030. The drive towards Vision 2030 calls on us to be innovative in finding new ways of conservation, attracting tourists, and commercializing every part of our operation, landscape and wildlife. A major new initiative is the proposed People's Park. The People's Park is a community-led conservation initiative designed to strengthen and not to replace the existing conservancy system. It is based on core wildlife zones already identified, discussed, and approved by conservancy members through annual general meetings. The initiative seeks to improve protection of key wildlife habitats, regulate access to important tourism and wildlife areas, introduce conservation or entrance fees, strengthen wildlife monitoring, protecting breeding and refuge areas, and promote high-value, low-impact tourism. I want to pause here, fellow citizens. In Kunene North, in particular, this development concept, has become a political football. It has become unnecessarily contentious. This takes me back to the time when conservancies came into the country. Those of us whose fathers had cattle were saying conservancies are not for the people, are for the people who don't have cattle. Today, everyone wants to conserve. I want to urge people of Kunene region, my people, fellow residents, let us give government policy a chance. Government will never forsake you. Government will never harm you. If anyone else tells you something different, they are politicking. Quite frankly, they are not telling the truth. Government policy is there to enhance our lives. So too, the people's parks. We must understand them. We must, every person, every community must try and seek to find a slot within that policy where they make a better living. Where it harms, government must be informed in an orderly manner. But it becomes disappointing when leaders are propelling narratives for political gain, when they know that they have a life, that they have salaries, when they know that when they don't have salaries, they refuse to come to government events, but are blocking society and people from reaping the benefits of that can be derived from government policy and initiatives like the People's Park. It is disappointing, and it must be fixed. Through that, I am not saying that those, and I'm not speaking like a politician here, I'm not saying that those that are against it are without merit. But what I'm saying is proper conversation must be had for us to have a middle ground, for us to continue earning, for us to improve the Conservancy's earnings with the People's Park. That's all it's there for. The People's Park initiative is intended to give communal conservancies wildlife management and tourism rights comparable to those exercised by freehold commercial farmers on their own land. This will create greater equity by allowing communal landholders to derive increased values from wildlife and landscapes they conserve. 4 proposed People's Park areas have been identified in Kunene region. 3 in Kunene North, involving conservancies such as Marine Flues, Orupembe, Okonjombo, Sanitatas, Sesfontein, and Anabep, and Omatendeka. Anabep, Omatendeka, and Vipuakuje. And in Kunene South, the People's Park involved Tora, Was, Bibasen, and SORAs. Kunene's overall Kunene's conservancies are far more than conservation institutions. They are engines of rural development, employment creators. They are engines of tourism growth and community empowerment. their environmental protection and cultural preservation. They have created jobs in remote areas, generated incomes for communities, supported education, maintained boreholes, protected biodiversity, and strengthened Namibia's global reputation as a leader in community-based conservation. The time is right to move our people higher into the benefit chains of conservation and in the tourism industry. The government has sufficient funding models. The Youth Development Fund is one of them. Social Security funding is there, and other sources of capital that our communities and individual citizens can tap into to exploit uncharted territories in the tourism sector. Young people, trophy hunting is a low-hanging fruit. Travel agencies is a low-hanging fruit. Game breeding awaits new entrants. Tourism, arts, and craft can move into new frontiers. Local tour guides can become more organized and acquire means of transport for themselves and their clients. The opportunities in this sector are endless. This is why it continues to manifest itself as a front in which our 2030 agenda must be anchored. Fellow citizens, as I conclude, you'll be happy to hear, Kunene is on the right track and firmly embedded in central government's plans and policy formation as we journey towards 2030. Our social sectors are stable and are stabilizing our region. Our critical enablers towards our national vision are saving us from firm ground, proper foundation, and our opportunities are abundant. Our region is not without challenges, we concede, but these challenges are conquerable. Fellow citizens, we must therefore reignite our drive to succeed. As a region, we must maintain our composure in the face of obstacles and tap into our resolve to develop our localities. Ladies and gentlemen, your government has a vision. I have hope in Kunene region. I have hope in our mining prospects. Hope in the ingenuity of our farmers, that if resourced properly, we can weather storms and feed the nation. I have hope and I trust in our young people, their energy, their ingenuity and talent to take us into 2030 as wealthy, healthy, happy and progressive citizens of Kunene region. I leave you with the following 3 P's. Progressiveness, progress, and positivity. Progressiveness is what your governor yearns for to see in Kunene region. Progress is what our government and the 8th administration wants for our beloved Kunene region and its people. Positivity from leaders is good, not just for the souls of those whom we profess to lead, but also for our own souls as leaders. I thank you for attentively listening, and I'm ready for answering questions.
That was the Kunene Regional Governor, Vipuakuje Muharukua, giving us his State of Regional Address for the year 2026. Now, he highlighted challenges such as poor road networks, unfit water for both human and livestock consumption, as well as the high unemployment rates facing the region. While charting the way forward, he says that unity of purpose should drive the region towards progress, and that the key issues that came out of this SORA is that progress, positivity, as well as progress are needed to drive towards excellent developmental agendas that speak to the needs of the people. That are about 120 residents that need both leaders, despite the political differences and affiliations, should make sure that they deliver the best results for their people.
Most of what we would want to take home for our constituencies, our towns, our villages.
Looking for the ultimate entertainment experience? NBC Plus is your gateway to the best local and international